Welcome to the Half Space.
Bro, forgive me, man. I pressed the wrong intro even. But we're live. Ain't no big deal. We're live. We're exclusive. It's the call-in show. It's Saturday night. People, you're welcome. Zuberi's probably pissed off because I didn't play the right intro. It is what it is. But I put the link in the description. You already know the rules. There's the link to call in, people. You're very welcome to call in Khan and the Colonel. The Colonel just fixing up a few things. And while he's fixing up a few things, I'd just like to welcome you all. I'm sure so many people have got so much to speak about or speak on. You know the rules. Whatever you want to speak about, whatever's on your mind, FSG, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, transfers, come talk to us. Come have your say. Saturday nights is about you guys having a platform to speak about anything you want, any club you want. It's one of those ones where you think, oh, I want to get things off my chest. Well, if you do, click on the link, join us, and get it off your chest. Oh, I need to make a drink like that. I need to make, but yours is alcoholic, right? I'm gonna make a. What are you saying? Colonel's with us as you see. Colonel's up in the building.
My apologies, man. I see you dropped the wrong intro.
I know you're fuming with me. I'm sorry.
Nah, I didn't even notice that you mentioned it because I'm like, nah, calm, you know what I'm saying? Then I forgot to make my drink. Then I went to grab the drink. Then I got interrupted by bad Jamaicans in that, bro.
Why?
I was doing a little thing, you know what I'm saying? We're doing a little something. I'm tired, I'm knackered, I'm letting up. Yeah, man, it's bad things going on. But then I see the title of your show and I'm like, nah, I don't like this title. Then I seen the intro, I'm like, nah, I don't like this intro. But you know what it is? We're here. I want to hear from the people them. So you don't think this title is misplaced? You think this title is justified?
No, I don't know. It's just a title. Look at this. None of your business is.
Oh, okay.
People are on this thing today. Don't forget to smash the likes on your way in, though, people. Come on. As you come in, as we get the callers in, what happened? You don't feel that? You don't feel that Vimto you're drinking?
Nah, that alcohol sent some shiver up my spine.
Okay.
Kind of like FSG business. Because FSG got the people out in the streets, man. The people are not feeling the 150 mil that got put on the table, and so far only 20 mil spent.
People want to know. People are gonna have answers. People have questions. But come on, man, have your say, have your questions. Smash the likes if you want FSG to pony up and sign up a DM. None of your business says. If that's not a reason to smash up the likes, I don't know what is. That's for the Liverpool fans. For your other people, come talk to us, man. Arsenal, wham, shit. Fulham at home. It didn't look too tough, man. Apparently, man. Shit, Fulham at home. 10 men Fulham. Couldn't get a victory over the line. It's looking peak for them. Man City could be, Zuberi, Man City could be clear, in a couple of weeks already. It's just, is it title over already? Colonel right there. It's Colonel's Wi-Fi is not Wi-Fi at the moment. So I'm going to handle business.
Wait a minute. Was it me earlier?
It's you, man. It's your Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi.
Oh, no, patting it up still. Yeah, no, patting it up. It caught me off guard, but man, I got bare Wi-Fi's to connect to out here, man. Thought I was on the right one. My apologies,
Zuberi,
man.
choose one to go, FSG or Klopp. Ball is in your court. We already know Zuberi's answer. We already know. I'm telling you now, but we might as well hear it from the horse's mouth.
I'm choosing the manager. Yeah, I'm choosing the manager all day, every day.
To go.
No one cares about the club. Let's be honest. And when I say cares about the club, obviously, don't be sensitive, people. When I say care about the club, you don't care about the finances. You don't care. You don't even care to know all the names between the owners and the manager. You don't even care to know who's in there. You don't know the entire staff. So the only thing you care about is on the pitch, and the guys in charge of the on the pitch stuff is Klopp. So if you don't like what's going on the pitch, get rid of the guy that's in charge of it. Simple as that, man.
Is Liverpool ready for Newcastle? That's one of the questions that we're going to ask ourselves. Is Liverpool ready for Newcastle tomorrow? Because if we're not ready, I'm not going to lie, it could be messy. It could be,
You can't be doing that, bro. You can't be doing that. This is the day before the, you know what I'm saying, the war starts. And you're talking about you don't know. You gotta know, man. There's no I don't know. There's no fence sitting the day before. You can fence sit Tuesday to about Friday, Saturday. Now it's go time, man. You gotta be ready.
I don't think we're ready. I said it. No sitting on the fence. I don't think we're ready. If we get a draw tomorrow, I'm very happy. Very happy with a draw. Big up, Reedy. He says, we are top of the league. We are coming back to the big time soon. They obviously won. That means.
Right. Two games in.
Concentrate on the championship, Reedy, man, please. Yeah, stop typing out in capitals in game week 3. Game week 3 ain't the time to type out in capitals. Just relax. Long season. But well played so far. Well played. Yeah, man. People, the link to call in is pinned in the chat. If you want to come through, don't be shy. Come through. I don't want to talk too much. Zuberi might want to talk too much. I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. People always say, oh, you're biased, you're one-sided, you have agendas, you have narratives. Well, this show is to dispel all of that. Come in and say what you want to say. And as long as you're respectful and not having personal insults or being rude or using obscene language, I'm going to let you have your say. You can have your say. You can speak about anything you want, any group of people you want. As I said, as long as there's no swearing, obscene language, etc., etc. You already know the rules. Zuberi, man, what's happening, man? Anyway, where you been? How you been?
I've been in the housing market, man, trying to acquire a house.
Oh, you serious?
What else? Yeah, fired a guy. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing what he was supposed to do.
Okay. Like the sporting director at Liverpool?
Yeah, man, when men ain't doing their job, bro, they gotta go. You know, trying to be a good father, man, trying to have the life that I deserve, you know them ones.
100.
A lot of people out here, they're looking after themselves, and people, I hope you're in heaven the weekend you deserve, you know what I mean? Because you can't complain if you ain't trying to fix it, you know what I'm trying to say. So, it's one of them ones. But other than that, man, it's just the usual, you know what I'm saying? Making sure all of my boys are good, making sure my family is good, and make sure the company is good, man.
Name of the
That's what
game.
it's all about.
I just realized I didn't even tweet that we're live. We live, baby. So we'll let the people know we're live. Guess what, man? I don't know. Are people shy, or is the link not pinned? People are shy today. We normally the studio is full as soon as I put the link out. What, everyone's shy today? Nobody wants to speak. Everybody wants to hype up on social media and in the comments and in the messages. Come and have your say. Come and have your say, man. But looking at today's results, Man United looked shaky, but again came away with 3 points in the end. Very lucky.
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't see the game. The only game I saw so far is West Ham game, Brighton. I don't know what was happening with me on Thursday morning. Yeah, Thursday morning I told somebody that, you know, Brighton might be up there in the top 3. I don't know why, but yeah, no, they got humbled by West Ham still. Your boy Ward-Prowse.
Bro.
Early days, so I'm not going to say anything too tough, but your boy Ward-Prowse.
West Ham got adding Kudos to the mixture as well, yeah. Mohamed Kudus is coming.
Yeah, and they got that Edson Alvarez, I believe, as well.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's bigging up Zuberi, not Zuberi, De Zerbi. Everyone's bigging up Zuberi anyway. But De Zerbi getting a whole heap of praise. And then a result like that, I think Brighton, surely they're going to come down a peg or two, man. You can't be selling McAllisters and Caicedos and everything else that they've sold, Cucurella's and the centre back Dan Burns, and you can't be selling people, and still getting better. You're losing the backroom staff, the analysts, the directors. Surely they peaked. Surely last season was peak for them, right? Or you think they can do?
Nah, it's one of them ones where between 6 and 10 is their level, and I don't think the club has. I don't think their ambition shift yet. Where like when like the Newcastles, they get the foundation right, and then they're like, "Yo, let's go up a gear." I don't think Brighton reached the going up a gear level yet. I don't know if they're gonna do it with the Zerbi, but Brighton is they're just enjoying themselves, man. Like they got big college age players, and they just free reigns. You know what I'm trying to say? Football is a humble. So one bad result against West Ham, I don't think it'll knock them down too far. They'll just try to go again next week, carry on with life. There's no real pressure on Brighton, to be fair. You know what I'm trying to say? So whether they come 6th or 10th, no one is going to be up in arms about that. And I think they got Conference League or Europa League this season or something and around there. Yeah. They be fine, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They be fine. They punching above their weight anyway. So for them to be doing bits with even Matomo and Enciso or whatever his name is, they're just going to come out. They might get slapped 6-0, you know what I'm saying, tomorrow. They'll still ball out the day after that. That's what Brighton has been, man. So.
Kevin, our Man United fan, says, think we deserve the win. Yeah, you probably did, but you know what I mean? Are you happy with the way your team's playing right now? I don't know, Kev. If you're about calling. Oh, big up Umar. He says, Grizz, met you in Southfields earlier today. Great podcast. Thank you very much, bro. It was a pleasure meeting you in Wimbledon. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it was nice, man. I was having a little catch up with a couple of mates in Wimbledon today, and one brother reached out to me and said he watches the show and everything, and said nice, pleasant things, man. So big up. Thank you for that.
Yeah, big up, man.
Daza, you're in the building. Come through if your missus allows it. You know what I mean? Come through. We like to chat. Just to show that we like to chat. Yeah, you know, he's yeah. Why are you laughing like that, man? I didn't say nothing.
You could just say, come through if you're available. You ain't got to let people know his missus is like, yeah, nah.
You don't mind. You don't mind. He's good, man. He's good. Yeah, man. People with the comments. I'm seeing your comments. I'm reading your comments.
Did you see the Arsenal game? Heard they got a draw. I didn't see the game.
Bro. I don't know if you're one of the guys. Arteta's trying to be too clever. I think. I know it's early and all of that business. I get it. But Arteta's being too much of a Pep regen. He's trying to do too many changes and too many tactical flexes where, I don't know, Arsenal's room. Arsenal fans in the chat, let us know. You're better equipped to tell us about Arsenal.
Wait, but ain't Arteta your boy?
Ain't
Arteta your boy? So you're flip-flopping on him or what?
What am I saying? I don't flip-flop. I'm just saying he's been a bit too clever. I'm not flip-flopping. I still think he's the best man for the job out there. I'm not flip-flopping on Arteta.
Okay.
I'm just saying sometimes you got to keep it real, basic. Arsenal, we knew their team, we knew their formation last season. This time he's playing that QO at left back. He's trying different things, man. You know what I mean? The midfield combinations. Today he brought in Trossard. Nketiah, I believe, started. Unless I'm wrong. Partey played it in inverted right back. Do you get me? So it's a bit.
Let me ask you a question though. Based off your comments solely about doing too much or trying too much, if you came second and the game slipped away from you in the last 10 games, do you come up with the same formula that got you second, or you're gonna try and change something to see if you can bridge the gap?
Good question. I think you need another year, a season of solidity, in my humble opinion. I think you need to.
So you say run it again and see if you come second before you change it. Okay.
Run it again and
trust the process. Trust the process.
In my opinion, you run it again and prove that it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a one-off. Remember how we finished second under Brendan Rodgers in 2013 and 14, and we couldn't sustain it because we knew that was a fluke. It was a one-off. Yeah, and we dropped off. I don't want Arsenal to be that team. Arsenal need, for me, in my opinion, need to come again and show us again that last season wasn't a fluke. So then, if it wasn't a fluke, then you know, okay, the foundation is solid. Now we work and add the, whatever you want to call it, the sprinkling on the cake or the icing on the cake, or, you know, because the foundation's solid now. We've got the core. So that's what I would personally go for. If you're saying, or if he's saying, we finished second, how do I next straight away catch up City? It don't run like that, man.
Okay. I just think, you know, it's a great question because I've always asked for a little bit of change, but you might be saying he's changing way too much. You know,
Not way too much.
You know, mac and cheese is a simple dish, and some people try to make it to the point where it doesn't even have macaroni in it. And you're like, bro, this ain't even mac and cheese anymore.
What you doing? What you just giving me? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, innit? What did you give me? Like, but some Arsenal fans are saying, not recognize this team, man. What's this Partey inverted fullback and Cure on the left back, and you know what I mean? The midfield setup ain't settled down yet. The strike force ain't settled down yet. He doesn't know the best combination yet. Gabriel Jesus coming back from injury. 1 week Nketiah, 1 week Trossard. You know what I mean? I don't know. There was another brother as well. But I mean, look, they got their own issues. We Liverpool got our own issues. Man United. What I will say, I hate to say it, this could be a wrap for Man City, bro, this season. The way other teams have started. Someone needs to get teams need to settle down very quickly, because Spurs look good. Bro, Spurs look good. Arsenal don't look settled. United definitely don't look settled. We know our issues and problems. Chelsea, do they look settled to you? Chelsea got 4-0 win on the road, 3-0 win. Did you watch any of the Chelsea game?
Yeah, I was watching. I wasn't the one today. Was it West Ham that was playing with, and West Ham had like 10 men?
No. They played. Chelsea played. Who did they play yesterday? Luton, man.
They played Luton yesterday, but I didn't see the Luton game. I think it's the West Ham game. They played West Ham and lost. Didn't West Ham beat them with 10 men or something like that? Paqueta had a beast of a game. Yeah, that's the only Chelsea game I saw. Obviously, I saw the first one against us.
You there?
Yeah. So I saw 2 of their 3 games basically.
What do you make of Chelsea? The Chelsea people our usual Chelsea people in the chat ain't been in the chat for a few weeks.
Chelsea is at 0 for me because they got 1 win, 1 draw, 1.
I think your internet is just coming in and out, but we move. Where the callers at today? What's going on, people?
Hey, did you pin the
guys,
link?
Is the link pinned, guys? Let me know. I'm sure I've done it. Let me know. Is the link in the chat? Because this is not normal. Nobody wants to call in. Where's the link? It should be in the thing, innit? Don't tell me I put the wrong one or I haven't put it up all this time. Because you know I'm prone to errors like that. But I'm gonna put the link again in the normal chat as well. Okay, it's pinned, people are saying, man. There's the pin. There's the link, sorry. So yeah, man, come in. Acting weird, people are saying. Oh, it's pinned. Yeah, man, it's pinned. The link is pinned. So yeah, call in. and speak, man. What do you want to speak about? Which club? Which team? Which situation? Who are you not happy with? What's weird about it, Kev? Let me know what's going on. Sugar to Ray Chowdhury says Gomez is shit. Play Phillips, the no nonsense defender tomorrow. Boy, that would be a bit controversial if that's the case. That would be the case. Okay, so the link wasn't pinned because now we got callers coming through. People in the building, bear with me. I'm gonna get you all on. We have Mike, we have Faz, we have Suleiman, we have B, we have Davey, we have Yuvraj, we have a whole heap of people just coming through now. Make your points very clear, concise. Trying to get through as many people as we can. Have your cameras on, please, because without your camera, you can't come on unless I know you personally or you've been on before. Faz B, if you get cameras on, then I know you're there ready to come in. What I was gonna say, De Zerbi versus Moyes ball. Yeah, people, that was a bit of a shock to the system. All that hype about Brighton and De Zerbi. Yeah, it was long. It was long today for them. Not gonna lie. Moyes under pressure came through with a result. Akash says, Grizz, this live didn't come on my timeline. Yeah, I don't know what's happening then, man. A few people are complaining about they didn't get a notification or they don't know the show is on. But you people already should know that it's on, man. Saturday night, come on. You already know the calling is there. Hopefully the Colonel will be back. He's having a few issues with his Wi-Fi. Will Matip get shredded tomorrow? Benayu says. I know Gomez isn't an option. Why isn't Gomez an option? Gomez is an option, no? Gomez can play tomorrow. Why not? Why isn't he an option? Yeah, just waiting on Zuberi, see if he comes through. None of your business is put the stream up for people that want to come through. Who's ready out of the people that are waiting in the chat? Let me see. Smash the likes, people, while you're waiting. Smash the likes. Yeah, young Yuvraj. I know you're ready, but just if you want to sit properly, please, kind of thing, man. Like, yeah, you don't look good for the show if you're just laying there, bro. Hope you don't mind. You know what I mean? Like, few people complained last week. Faz, you've been on before, you're saying? Okay, fair enough. Hope. B, you're in the building, but your device is saying not connected. So I don't know if you want to get connected. I think I'm going to bring in Mike, who looks the most ready and looks the most semi-professional, who's ready to come in. But you want to speak to Zuberi. Zuberi's not here. Let me see what Zuberi's saying. But Mike, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well, my guy.
What's good? How are you?
I'm all right, bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And I played
This
golf
is all about you guys, man. This is all about the viewers, subscribers, watchers, followers, fans of different clubs, countries. All about you guys. Tell me how you are. Tell me how you be. Tell me what you want to talk about.
I mean, on a personal level, I'm great.
Amazing.
As a Liverpool fan, I feel like I just got mugged in the New York City subway, and I've just been left to bleed in the gutter.
No. Oh,
yeah.
That don't sound too healthy. Go on.
So
what's that analogy based on?
So the main thing that I want to address is this whole idea of Klopp versus FSG, right? Like, who's at fault for the state of the club? And I think that first and foremost, the buck stops with FSG because they employ all. So any dysfunction that happens at the club is thereby automatically associated with them because they are in charge of putting people in charge. So if Klopp has too much power, that's FSG's fault. So if you're FSG in, you can't say Klopp has too much power because then that means that you've allowed the babysitter to be terribly behaved and neglect the squad. So, but outside of that, everyone can point the finger at FSG. I think that it's more important to kind of point the finger at Klopp over the last 3 years because, you know, the quote that he had yesterday during his press conference kind of drove me insane. It literally, I think he's losing his marbles. You know, to say that we even have 6 defenders in this team, are you blind? We have 2 defenders maximum. Ibrahim Konate, who's only started 17 games last season, and Virgil van Dijk. Joel Matip and Joe Gomez don't get more than 5 minutes in a single other top 6 team. They are not worthy of calling defenders. Andrew Robertson has been a steady 5 or 6 out of 10 for 6 months outside of the Bournemouth game. I'll give him an excellent performance against Bournemouth. But other than that, he's been bang on average. And Trent, we all know, and we don't have to dive into that. His purpose isn't to be defensive. But considering the fact that Konate has been our only center back signing over the last 3 years, how can you say that you're even comfortable? How can you say that you have more than 2? It doesn't make any sense. And then to go further, I don't think he wanted to sign anyone. I think that he wanted to keep Hendo and Fab, and that was going to be it. It was going to be Szoboszlai and McAllister. And if you think that that would have been good enough to compete, again, therein lies a problem. I think that Klopp has just lost his touch a bit. And I think part of the reason why is because we don't have a sporting director. You know, there needs to be someone there to kind of be the checks and balances. You know, like you got to have the Senate if you're going to have a president. You know what I mean? We don't have the Senate right now. We just have a president. We need that other side. And so, you know, we can point our fingers, but there's a lot to look at Klopp and basically say, I don't know what you're doing and I don't see what you're doing. And then the whole tweet today that I saw about players and staff starting to panic a little bit. Like, what are you talking about? It's August 26th. We should have panicked 2 months ago when we didn't make any additional signing. You know, it's just, I feel like I'm in a circus. You know, I feel like I'm watching people repeat the same mistakes over and over and over. And it's like, if the whole world can see it and every pundit in the world can see it, why can't Jurgen Klopp and why can't the club? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Listen, this is what it's about, people. What opening call, what opening chat, what opening statement or statements. Let's try to get through some of the points that Mike's made today. So yeah, look, in terms of Jurgen Klopp, can I ask what you do, Mike?
I work in the music industry. I do artists and repertoire.
Do you have people working with you, under you, around
Yeah.
you?
Yep.
Where I'm trying to go with this is Jurgen Klopp bigging up his defenders or his current players is the norm, right? Like,
Yes.
You don't expect him to come out in a press conference and when pressed about a certain situation, say, yeah, you know what? Matip's finished, Gomez is finished, etc., etc. He's gonna say, I've got players, they're good enough. Like someone said, whether we like them or rate them is not the issue here. We have got 6. 4 of them are crooked or unreliable or not durable or past it, whatever. That's fine. But what he said was factual. Like, we have 6 defenders at the club. We'd like to have some luck. I'd like to have more. See, people, I think, slightly misquoted him yesterday. They paraphrased a lot. If you look through the whole statement, what he said was, of course I want more. I wish I had 7, 8 defenders. It's not always possible. So that's the first part. But I agree with you that they're not. Sorry, go on. You want to respond?
That statement right there, that's not possible. You see, that's where I have my biggest disagreement, because over the past 3 years, we have reports about players that we could have signed, and no one's asking for marquee signings. Like, my ideal window, there wasn't a player over 60 million, and there were 8 of them. Okay, so this idea of what can we do and what can't we do, I think it's what does Klopp want and what does Klopp not want. You know what I mean? Like, Joel Matip and Joe Gomez shouldn't even be in the team anymore, in my opinion. You know,
Correct. I agree with that.
Yeah, the fact that these people haven't been recycled, like, I think that the Caicedo bid was a disgrace. I think that was disgusting. It was horrible business. We could have gotten Inacio for 35. You could have gotten Tiate. You could have got there's a laundry list of players under 60 million. And
I get your point. Your point is 100% that there is players out there. Whether Klopp and his team rate them like we do, that's up to them.
Agreed.
But don't say there's no players out there, but he didn't this time. So
Agreed.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
That there's just not been any refresh or not enough refreshment. We're bringing a young Calvin Ramsey. He's just can't get a game. You know, he's been injured, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. We bring in Tsimikas, who's been an able deputy for Robertson. We bring in Konate, like you said, who's the only major centre back that we've brought. Matip, you know, I struggle watching him play. I'm with you. He's an absolute hero to me. But
He used to be.
I struggle to watch him
I
play.
loved him. I loved him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but Konate only started 17 games last season, and Joe Gomez and Joel Matip combined over the past 3 years have missed 100 games. So in theory, you know, I don't even know if Klopp can say that he has defenders because they haven't been there. You know what I mean? Like we don't have depth, and our players are injury prone in an injury inducing system and style of play. So I do hear what you're saying, and I do agree. I don't expect him to go out there and just bash his players and say, you're not quality. You're not quality.
But I get the frustration.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is we have to take away what he says in press conferences to actually what he does. That's where the frustration should be.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say, and look, see, people like this, look, I'm not defending, who am I defending him? If I'm not going to defend Jurgen Klopp, who am I going to defend? Jurgen Klopp is my manager. Of course,
I'm not even Klopp out. You know,
but if he makes mistakes, I'm here to call him out. And I've said, how many times have I said Klopp's not immune from criticism? So stop putting up stupid comments without listening to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, and if you disagree, no problem. But don't put words in my mouth. Like, I'm not defending him. He's made errors. He's made mistakes. I've just done a tweet. Go and check my timeline where I said he's not as equally as blame, because obviously there's differences or percentages of blame, but he's part of the problem, whether you like it, whether you don't.
Yeah.
So that's not defending Jurgen Klopp, and that's not defending FSG. I'm saying when you win, it's a collective seen as a brilliant institution, well-oiled machine from top to bottom, analysts, dinner ladies, coaches, physios. When you lose, it's just the fucking owners. It's just the owners. Everyone else is doing their business. It's just the owner. It don't make sense.
Yeah.
In any walk of life, in any form of business, it doesn't make sense. Your other point about, yeah, I agree in terms of, so the where I wanted to go with the conversation was, and it's good you started off with you, because I didn't know you were going to speak about this, obviously, but it worked out kind of well. People, guys, there's 400 of you guys, 100 likes.
Smash the like button. Come on.
What's the maths? I don't know. 1 in 4, not even 1 in 4 of you are liking it. I don't really give a shit what he says in press conferences or in front of the camera. I'm only interested in what he actually does practically about it. So for me, he could be saying, we're amazing, but turf them out and bring in players. Or he could say, Van Dijk is not performing to the level of his ability, but then make him captain and do it as a motivation. So I don't know what the thinking behind Jurgen Klopp is when he's talking in front of the camera. The fact that he hasn't brought in a centre-back, because that's a fact, right, Mike?
Yes, action.
The fact that he hasn't brought in a centre-back at the moment, thus far, there's 6 days to go, is worrying and disturbing for me. That's where the frustration and the anger should lie.
Agreed.
Not with what he says. I personally, my advice would be, let's not get triggered by what he says, because every coach, every manager has to defend his players. So, for example, Zuberi is part of my channel. If someone comes in running their mouth off about Zuberi, for example, to give an example, I'm going to defend him because he's part of my team.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to criticize him if he says something wrong or rude or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that's how Klopp is. Klopp's not going to put his players under the bus and say, yeah, they're all finished. You know what I mean? I'm looking for players left, right, and center, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is we haven't done enough business, Mike. I agree with you. Yeah. Your other point was about sort of, look, just generally the state of the club, circus, you called it. And I think at this stage, again, we can only take you on face value, my brother. Saturday, 26th of August, right now, I agree with you. It's quite a lot of things that don't make sense. that don't make sense. But is it about on the pitch? Is that the most important thing? So, for example, tell me how you feeling going into tomorrow's game. What if we go and beat them like we done last season?
Listen, at the end of the day, anything can happen when that match is playing, right? We all know that anything can happen. Just look at today. Arsenal drawing to Fulham, United somehow coming back from 2-0, right? Anything can happen. I mean, Brighton lost to West Ham 3-1. Who was expecting that? No one. But the problem is consistency and being able to see down the road. Because right now, what I see is the same Klopp as last year, being tactically inept and playing players out of their position. He's adapting the players to the system rather than managers that I would prefer in terms of tactical setup, rather than adapting the system to the players, right? Like that's the perfect argument of Pep versus Klopp. Pep adapts the system. Klopp adapts the players. One of them has won 4 straight Premier League titles and a treble. The other one has won one of everything in 7 years. So to me, when I see Gakpo playing in midfield, when I see Darwin playing on the left wing, when I see Harvey Elliott in midfield, it worries me, right? Like I have no doubt in the quality of our up front. If everything clicks, that front three can score 4 goals against any team in the world. Not a question. The problem is that can we concede less than 4 goals? That I don't know, but that's down to the system and that's down to the players operating in the system. And what we saw all last season was players playing in a system that they were not capable of running, right? It was like a Ferrari being filled with regular gas. You know what I mean? You got to fill it up with premium if you want it to drive correctly. Otherwise, it's going to break down and have problems. So I'm always confident in the team. I'm never, ever going to say that we can't win a game. But at the same time, I have to poke up my eyebrows and say, can Cody play in midfield? Why is he not playing the false line? Why is Jota still playing up front when he's had, 2 stinkers? There's a lot of questions that we'll have, and anything can happen. But, I think it's just there's a lot of alarming signs, and I don't see any action to change it, right? We only saw it in the last 6 games last season. I mean, what if we made those changes in January? What if we had done it 2 months earlier? Would we be sitting here? We were only 4 points off in our worst season. Could we have possibly gotten 4 more points? Sure, absolutely. So, I think that we can beat anybody on any day. The problem is it that day? And how often is it going to be that day? And is it because we're not putting out the right system with the right players? Which is, again, that's where all the money's made. But hopefully, I'm hoping we go out there tomorrow, we win, we sit back, we don't open up holes, and we bear the pressure and hit them on the counter. And you know what I mean?
Look, I agree with you, man. Look, there's no one, I don't think, there's not many Liverpool fans that would suggest that everything is rosy. If there is, fair play to them. I want some of the shit they're smoking, drinking, eating. Because we know there's issues. There's absolute issues in the way we're playing, in the lack of strength in certain areas, namely the defense and the midfield. And yeah, like you said, it's worrying that not enough is being done. We started off the window like a house on fire. It got us hyped. It got us excited. As I said, I still think we're going to bring in at least 1 player before the end of the week, hopefully 2. And then we'll have to assess it again in terms of the quality of the 2 that we bring in. And then we'll have to assess it again in terms of, were they panic buys, or were they calculated buys, or were they shrewd buys? And the only way we're going to know, unless you claim to know everything about every player, and fair play to you if people are out there that know how a certain player is going to end up, the only way we're going to find out is by watching them play for the Liverpool Mighty Reds during the season. And if they perform, we're going to applaud the people involved. And if they don't, we will criticize and say, this was a disaster. Can't believe it. The structure is wrong. The recruitment is wrong. The analysis is wrong. The coaching is wrong, which is Jurgen Klopp. And then everyone's to blame. But I hear you, and you made your points, and you made them very well, bro. Mike,
thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in, my bro. If Zuberi's about, and if you're still about and you want to come in and argue with him, feel free. If I see you, I'll bring you in. I'll bring you in. Jump the queue because a few people want to speak about Zuberi and his pro
All
FSG.
good.
But
All
listen,
good. Thank
so
you, man.
nice one. Look after yourself. Take care.
Take care.
There you go, people. Not a bad call to start off with. A lot of questions to be asked. People in the chat, in the studio. I've got Faz. I've got Fida 29. I've got B. I don't know if your camera's on. I've got Yuvraj, and I've got Jezza. I see you all, people. I'm going to bring you all in ASAP. Conroy's in the building. Big up the chat. Yeah, guys, over 400 of you. Hope you guys have all hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. And just come on and see what you want to say. People are asking, how do you call in? The link is pinned, people. If it's not pinned, let me know. I'll keep popping it into the chat every 10 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes or so. Sass, I've just WhatsApped you the link, my brother. Sass is my good personal friend. So if you want to come in and have a chat, just click on the link. I've WhatsApped it to you privately. Faz, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing very well.
Salam, how are you doing?
Assalam, I'm good, bro. I'm good. How are you doing? What's happening?
Like, I'll start the same way as Mike did. So I'll talk about how I'm doing in my personal life and then how I'm doing as a Liverpool fan.
As a Liverpool fan, yeah.
So in my personal life, I'm doing great. I'm hitting the gym. I've reached a point where, like, I'm better than I was, say, anytime in my 20s. I'm in my 30s
Amazing.
now. I've actually hit a big milestone. I'm going to be going on holiday soon as well, so that's going to be great. So
amazing. Where are you calling from again? Please forgive me.
I'm calling from Leeds, so
Leeds.
UK. Yeah. So
big up Leeds.
Not near your neck of the woods, but further up north.
No problem, man.
Yeah. So as far as a Liverpool fan is concerned, this is how I'm going to summarize our transfer window. We're a day late and $1 short. And that's basically how I sum up our transfer window. And if you want to compare and contrast how I felt last year, I was more optimistic last year before we played Fulham than I am now. Because as a Liverpool fan right now, based on this transfer window activity that we've done, I feel the season's already over for us. And that's, like, sad to say, but it's the honest truth. And I'm not one to mince around with words here. I have to be open and honest about how I feel and, what I say. In terms of, like, the transfer news and stuff, like, it's pretty much sucked the life out of me as a Liverpool fan. Because there's a lot of stuff you hear and, there's a lot of signings that you want, and then for whatever reason it doesn't really transpire that way, and you kind of you think to yourself that what do I believe here? And then you think to yourself, this can't be it. There must be more than this, because it's that much of a joke, because we're on the final week here, Grizz, and if you want my honest opinion, we've only made 2 signings, and I don't really count Endo as a signing, even though he is a signing, if you know what I mean, like a world-class signing. And we're on our last week, and I heard what you just said to the other caller, Mike. I'm of the opinion that even if you do sign somebody, say if you get 2 players in, are they going to be good enough that you're going to slot in? Like, they're just going to, they're going to hit the ground running, just like, say, Luis Diaz did when we got him in January, a year and a half ago. Do you think it's going to be like that? Because I'm quite doubtful it's going to be like that. I mean, I could be wrong here, and I hope I am wrong, but it really is going to take something shrewd, like you say, for that to happen, and I'm not entirely sure it will happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I can't see it happening, because people are going to know how desperate we are, and they're going to hike up the prices, and we're going to end up forking out a lot more than we need to, unless there's like a hidden gem somewhere, which we have shown that we've not capitalized on in the past. I don't know about this at all, and I think my expectations are set in terms of where we end up. I see us getting Champions League, possibly winning the Europa League, and I guess that would be an achievement in itself. But at the same time, I look at all these players that we've got. I look at Salah, with it being probably most likely his final year. I look at Van Dijk, he's going to be a year older, he'll be 33. I look at Alisson, he's going to be getting on. I look at Trent, a world-class player in him. I look at all these players, and I think to myself that, we've let them all. This club has let them all down. They've let these world-class players down, because they could have played for any other team, and they would have had more accolades to their name than they do now. And it's kind of a shame, because at one point it was a dream team. It really was a dream team. It was the best starting 11 for the last couple of years until the start of last season. And here we are now, and have we seen the best of this team? And that's something that's worth us having a conversation about, and it seems as though we have done. And that's all I've got to say about that.
No, that's a fair bit of say. It's a fair bit of say, bro. You've got it off your chest. As I said, it's all about getting it off your chest. I just want to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind, because that's what I do, man. I like asking questions. And
I'm more than happy to answer those questions.
You started off by saying you think the season's a write-off and a disaster already. Am I wrong? That's what you said.
I said that I'm less optimistic moving forward than I was last season. I was more optimistic, and I thought that...
You did say that, but you also said it's a disaster.
Based on the transfer window, yeah.
Right, okay. When has Liverpool's season's aspirations been based positively on a transfer window?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it hinged more on this transfer window than any other transfer window in the past. Based on the fact that so many players left, and we also lost key players. So we lost a captain, and we lost Fabinho. I mean, there was so much that needed to be done, and it wasn't done. And that's what I mean right there, is that this particular transfer window was different from all the previous ones.
Yeah, in terms of how much needed to be done.
Yeah, exactly. And how much needed to be done can give you an idea in terms of how the season could pan out. I mean, I could be wrong here. This is all hearsay. This is just me.
No, it's your opinion, absolutely. And as people are reminding, there's loads of people. There's loads of people agreeing with you in the chat. There's loads of people disagreeing with you, and that's the beauty of it. And the people that are agreeing with you are saying great points. The people that are disagreeing are saying, cheer up. Everyone's entitled to support and feel what they want. And this is the whole purpose of this show, is to say how you feel. And if that's how you feel, I get it. I absolutely get it. But I personally don't think it's a disaster, and I'm writing the season off after 2 weeks, after 2 games. This team and this manager has shown me and surprised me so many times in the last 7 years. It's unbelievable from where we were to what we are. I agree that not enough has been done, and it's disappointing. And at the moment, it looks worrying in terms of the depth. But I think our 12, 13 players, which of course isn't enough, is a rival for any. I don't see, apart from Man City, I don't see any other team in the league that's really ready and settled. If you go through other, I'm privileged and honored to have a lot of interaction with a lot of other teams, fans and whatnot. And trust me, they're all up in arms. Man United fans are absolutely going mad with their situation and the ownership, everything. Chelsea fans, we already know. Arsenal fans are not happy. They think they've started off and they're not looking strong. Spurs fans, okay, a little bit of hype now, but they were like dreading the season. There's not many clubs that are out there that are really settled and really look challenging and dangerous. Even Man City, I don't know if you've seen many of their games so far.
I have.
They haven't been outstanding, but we know the pedigree. And they've lost players, but they've brought them in as well. They brought players in as well. Now, we can argue and we can have our opinion in terms of the quality of players they brought in. You can't really say, sort of, it's not easy to replace a Mahrez or a Gundogan.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne to that for the season. So there's levels of doom and gloom or pessimism throughout a lot of clubs. I get it. But obviously, we're only concerned with Liverpool right now, being Liverpool fans. Obviously, there's other fans in the chat. So I get it. I get it. But obviously, then as the call went on, then you suddenly started saying, you think we're going to still get top 4 and maybe win the Europa League, which will mean, in my opinion, that would be a successful season based on the perception of the majority of the fan base. We're finished.
With all due respect,
we're going to win the Champions League and we're going to win the Europa League, which is the only competition we're in, really. We're not in the Champions League, so we can't win it. We can only win what we're in.
Yeah. So, with all due respect, Grizz, Liverpool Football Club is a bigger club than a Europa League, and that's all I'm going to say.
But the point, but that's a very obvious thing to say. With all respect, due respect, you're only as good as now. History-wise, whereas historically, we're different. So right now, in terms of where we are, you can't say we deserve anything. We deserve where we are. So we deserve to be in the Europa League because of the performances last season. So it's not about we're bigger than Europa League. We shouldn't be in the Europa League then if we're bigger than it. But what I'm saying is we can only win what we're in. Jurgen Klopp and the players have come out and said they were disgusted with last season, and rightly so. They've shown their disgust. My personal point of view is show it on the pitch, showing the pitch. And I personally not giving up on the season at all. I'm looking forward to the season. I absolutely want more done in the market. 100% I want at least another couple of players. That's it. You said you don't consider Endo a signing. I find that very disrespectful, in my opinion. Again, you gave your opinion. Did you feel very excited about Gini signing or Robertson signing?
None of those two guys were 30 years old.
Sorry?
None of those two guys were 30 years old.
Milner was how old when we signed him?
Yeah, but he played for a Premier League team, a proven Premier League side.
He was not starting for Man City.
He was a promising talent that we all knew about since he was in Leeds United. We all knew about Milner for a while. So this is more of an unknown commodity from Bundesliga.
To you. Is that fair to say?
To the vast majority of fans that watch the Premier League, this is an unknown commodity which we didn't even know about.
Faz, he's an unknown commodity to you. Is that fair to say? Have you watched him?
Up until recently, no.
Do you know much about him?
Apart from the fact that
I don't claim to as well, by the way.
So apart from the fact that
he's an unknown commodity to me as well.
Yeah.
But since we signed him, I asked everyone under the sun who would know, in terms of people, journalists, fans. I mean, we've done a couple of shows with some Bundesliga experts who rave about him, who speak highly about him. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be a success. But it also, for example, doesn't mean if you pay high money for a player, he's going to be a success. And we're probably one of the best examples of recent times. It's not about the price. It's about the level of scouting that you do behind the scenes. So I wouldn't say it's a nothing signing. It doesn't excite you. That's fair enough. You don't know about him. That's fair enough. I didn't know about him. But the people that do and watch regular Bundesliga or have known about this player have said is a very shrewd signing. Yes, we need to buy more. 100% we need to buy. But I don't get worked up about prices and names. Because I know our record, barring the odd 2 or 3, is very good. So I think we do very good business. I just don't think we do enough of it. That's what I would say. But look, you're entitled to your opinion. If you don't think it's worth Like, are you going to be watching? Are you going to be watching Liverpool this season? Are you going to be?
I'm always going to be watching Liverpool no matter
No
what.
way. If you, what's the
But
point?
I'm
If
just,
you've got
I'm
no
just,
expectations, no desire that we're
I-
going to do well, you're down. It's
listen,
going to be a disaster. You're
I'm
not
listen. I'm
happy.
not.
Why are you going to add to the misery?
So listen, I'm not. I'm sorry if I've been pessimistic here.
No, you're not. No, 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 no. I don't mean it like that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely entitled to feel that way because many feel that way. Many, many millions
Yeah.
feel that way.
I'm just speaking from my heart as a.
Of course you are. I know you are, 100%, and I like that. That's what I'm talking to you.
I'm looking. So I'm looking at all these players that we've got, and I see it's going to be Salah's last season.
No, that's
And-
look. I absolutely understand. I get it. You're down in the dumps at the moment. But all I'm saying is, if you're that down, like you sound, I don't believe you're that down. I think you're just. If you're that down, I wouldn't let football take over me like that. You're like, you sound really depressed. Like, this club.
I'm not. Listen,
the death of me.
I'm not generally. I'm not
Don't
like
let
this.
the death of you, bro.
I'm not like this at all. Like in anything else, I'm okay. But when we're
Mhm.
talking about Liverpool, I can't help but feel this way.
I understand. Well, listen, this does amazing things. I don't know how long you've been supporting Liverpool, but it seems like
I've been supporting them since I was 9 years old. Since like
I was going to say,
yeah.
it sounds like you're a supporter of many, many years, and for then, in that reason, you should be realizing this club turns it around anytime. It's given us so many times when we didn't expect it to. So always expect the unexpected. Yes, from the transfer side of things, it's a shambles as of today. I'm agreeing with you. So anybody that says, oh, I'm defending them or whatever, no. But I'm talking about the players, the coach that are there that have given me great times. I'm not about to stop supporting them. I'm not about to start talking shit on their name because they've proved to me that they've won stuff and they've done stuff. Some of them may not be at the best of their powers and the strongest in their careers, but this is where support, the true meaning of support, comes through. And our job, in my opinion, because it's only fair that I'm allowed to give my opinion as well. Everyone else is allowed to give their opinion, but it's only fair I give my opinion as well. In my opinion, a supporter should support at the time of need, not just weigh in and just slaughter players and whatever. But the powers that be, fair play. They need to be slaughtered when they don't do their jobs properly or efficiently. And I agree with many that saying that the players, some of the people behind the scenes are not doing their job properly, including the ownership, the football director, the managers, the Klopp. But I'm not about to give up my support. But Faz, you've made your points very well.
Yeah, and I hope that Ender proves me wrong. And if he does prove me wrong, I'm happy to come back on here and eat my own words.
Oh, I would love to hear from you. But I look, as I said, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're absolutely entitled to say what you want, how you want. It's your club as much as it's mine. And you're entitled to speak on it how you want. Faz, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, my brother.
Yeah, congrats on 33K, bro.
Thank you, my cuz. Thank you very much. Look after yourself and keep up the great work in the gym. You're smashing it. Nice one. Bye-bye. Let's bring in okay, now the studio's full. Hold on, I'm gonna bring in what are you saying, my friend? What are you saying, Sass? How are you doing? You're on mute. Get off mute. Get off mute. Now you're off mute.
Sorry, there we go.
How are we?
How are you, man?
We're
good, buddy. We're good. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. You're going to host the show with me today, so a little bit of a surprise for you. You didn't know. You're going to stay with me. People, this is Sass, my very, very good personal friend. Zuberi, as you guys know, has Wi-Fi issues today. He's not sure if he's going to make it. But me and Sass are going to be going through. Sass, a lot of pessimism, a lot of negative energy, a lot of, just panic, worry.
Yeah, that guy sounded pretty down.
Yeah, but I can understand a lot of it. Where are you? How are you feeling? I know how you're feeling, but tell the people how you're feeling. Okay.
Listen, it's not been ideal, right? You know, in terms of the changes and players going, and I think that's put a spanner in works. But, you know, let's at least give them to the end of the window. And let's not judge a book by its cover, even though I've just shown you one. Let's see what what Endo can do. Like you said, look, I've never seen him play apart from the 20 minutes or so he played the other week. But by all accounts, he's steady Eddie, well regarded by a host of people. So I think, let's at least give him a chance. And I think, listen, I mean, I was going to come on to the transfers. Who do we sign? Are you really going to go and pay 70, 80 million for Doucouré? Is he really the answer? Are you going to pay I know everyone keeps on going on about Inacio and this one and that one, and I don't know, there's Hincapié, and there's a whole bunch of centre backs that everyone keeps on talking about. But for the life of me, I for once think that there's not, the pool of talent out there. There's no one that, of course, the Judes of this world and whatnot, they've come and gone, right? So it doesn't feel like there's an obvious players to target in the way there was when it was Alisson, when there was VVD, when there was all these players. And, we've come up against Chelsea in a bit of a transfer tussle, and obviously money talks. And so I just think, look, there's a lot that is right from an attacking point of view. There's options, there's serious options, Look, it could be better. Don't get me wrong. Love another midfielder, all-action midfielder, and another left-sided centre-back, right?
Look,
and
me and you talk pretty much every day, and we go to the games, and I know you're a very positive thinking man in life, not even just as a Liverpool fan, but in life, and I love that about you, and I appreciate that about you. But personally, between me and you, I have raised my concerns about SAS. I'm telling you now, we need to do this, otherwise we're gonna fall behind. SAS, we need to bring in, and you're like, relax, calm down, relax. Are you still not seeing we can, or we should have done much more? I know you're saying there's not much quality on the market, but there is, SAS. There's always players. We've got such a famed recruitment team, famed analytical team, famed guys behind the scenes. Come on, you can't tell me there's not players that we can bring in that will improve some of the players that we've got. So, for example, Joe Matip. Come on, Joe Matip. I'm not having it if anyone says he's good enough to play for Liverpool Football Club for the aspirations that we've got. We can't find someone to replace Joe Matip now, Sass?
But was he really, question, and maybe I've seen it through sort of blue tinted glasses, right? But was he really that awful last season? I mean, he played well. He played well at West Ham. He's played well. I've seen, he's had good games and bad games, right? Okay, listen, I'm with you. I know what you're saying, but I'm just like, look, there's all this talk about we could have signed Enzo Fernandez for 15 million. We could have signed this one. We could have signed Caicedo for 5 million back in the day. But, in the same way, people would have been underwhelmed with those signings then, in the same way they're underwhelmed with the Endo signing.
But I get it. No, but I'm not concerned.
And are they going to get the chance to have played regularly at Liverpool, having just made those sorts of moves and not had the season they'd had it wherever it was, Porto, Benfica, or wherever they were playing at before. But so I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't stick out to me that, look, hopefully we will sign a couple more players before the window's out. But I just, the names they're not obvious to me.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be obvious to us. We're laymen. It's not our level of expertise. We're fans. We're supporters. Some may be more informed on certain league players, League One players, Serie A players, Bundesliga. But we employ experts, and I'm sure someone in the chat's going to bring up the whole who's to blame for it.
Sure.
Is it Klopp not choosing to use the funds available, or the players? Is he being picky and choosy like you are?
Yeah.
Some would say you're being Klopp. You're speaking like Klopp's been speaking in terms of who's good enough to improve on my players, But then yesterday he comes out and says, I know the parameters I'm working within. I know the restraints, financial restraints, but I'm okay with it. People forget that aspect. They only said the first sentence. He says, I know what I'm working with. and it's okay. This is how we operate. I'm not always happy, but no workforce or in any organization is always happy. But let's bring in some callers who want to
Sure.
argue with you probably and
Go
fight.
for it.
I think a lot are going to argue you today. I got just a funny feeling this is
No
going to
worries.
be a difficult day.
Stand my ground.
This is like
Let's go.
man's way for you. It's going to be like straight to the Dragons. Then no
Straight in the deep end.
no home game against Luton for you, mate. This, all right,
good.
we're gonna bring in Thida 29. Let's bring in Thida 29. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well.
Salam, bro. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Not too bad. How are you? What's happening?
Excuse my voice. I was at the Arsenal Fulham game, at the Fulham end. So it was scenes at the end. Obviously, Paulinho scored the equalizer.
Oh, okay. Who do you support?
Liverpool fan, bro. I'm still a Liverpool fan, but I just my friend's a Fulham season ticket holder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I went down. I'm a Paulinho guy, so I thought, why not? And he obviously got the equalizer.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's why I was confused because I'm sure I've spoken to you before. And
Yeah. I just changed my name on Twitter.
I thought you've had enough of our
Nah.
pre-season and transfer inactivity, and you switched sides.
Nah.
Okay.
I was on loan. I was on loan for today, but I'm back.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, cheers for having me on. I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like we're a mess. I don't want to add to the negativity.
2 callers out of 2 so far.
No. I'm not gonna be a bit like the last.
No, speak your mind. Speak your mind. Say how you feel, bro. Say how you feel.
I feel like we're just a mess off the pitch as we are on it. That's just what it is. I feel like it's just like any business. If it's not where it's just everything from top to bottom, it's just funneling down. I do get optimistic when Klopp is very good at galvanizing the fan base, but I just feel like even though he says the right things, that it's just, I feel like the timing in which he says what he says right now is a bit irritating. Because he has to kind of understand, like he says he understands where fans are coming from and all this stuff, but I don't know. I just feel like he should just, I feel like he's earned the right, obviously, to just speak his mind openly. But the frustrating thing is that he's not that type of person. So you can't really criticize him because you've got to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad. So if you want him to speak out, that then you'll start thinking, oh my God, Klopp's speaking out. Now it's really, oh my God, he's finally speaking out. But if he does, then it might cause even more unrest because the god of a manager that we love and adore has had enough. What does that mean long term? Has he had enough? Is he going to start leaving? And then you know how Liverpool fans are like, we're just going to start panicking constantly. So even this George Smacker brother coming in, I feel like he's done more vaping than work. Honestly,
don't say that. Sass is a big vapor himself.
Sorry, I just feel like he's been vaping a bit too much because I just feel like the McAllister deal was wrapped up before he even joined. Maybe he had some input with the Szoboszlai deal, but I just feel like I've been really pissed off since the Caicedo thing. That really irritated me, and I'm still recovering from that whole.
Let's. I think you're going to make some brilliant points. Let's start off with the first one.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, and millions of others, you think we're a mess on and off the pitch, and then you said you want Klopp to be more vocal.
Be more vocal in
calling out the owners or the situation.
Be a bit more honest about the situation in terms of what is actually happening.
Right. Okay. Let's stop you there and let's get some input from Sass what he thinks, because I think this is a major talking point of the situation right now. Sass, I know you've been on holiday, so you may have missed the
part of that. And I've got my daughters running in and out, but go on.
No problem. It's cool, man. The daughters are allowed. The situation, I think, is at a critical point in terms of many fans thinking and feeling Jurgen Klopp is, bro, what's your name? Forgive me, I forgot your name. Turab. I'm so sorry. Turab is saying, or Turab along with many are suggesting
Yeah.
Now, so, and Turab, interrupt me and come in if you think I'm didn't represent your opinion. He's protecting the owners, Sass. He's protecting the owners. I want your opinion and views. Is Jurgen Klopp protecting the owners, in your opinion? And should he be? And how do you deal with someone in that situation? Because he's, at the end of the day, guys, he's an employee of FSG. Sass.
I mean, look, from my point of view, look, nothing's changed since the day he's arrived, right? He's always known the gig. And the gig is that as much money the club makes, you know, those funds can be spent on improvements, whether that's infrastructure spend or basically the team, right? So, you know, nothing has changed. Now, the world around him has changed, arguably, whether that's inflation in the transfer prices, whether that's what Chelsea have been doing and a whole bunch of other clubs have been doing. But I don't know what, you know, what is he, you know, what is he meant to do? I think people have short memories, you know. I think, and I know, look, I'm not FSG, you know, I'm not into the business of like supporting owners of football teams. I'm into the business of supporting the team and the club, But, you know, what do we expect A, Klopp to do, and B, what do we realistically expect our owners to do? Like, you know, that is their business model. Now, I think they're trying to get more investment into the team, into the club, that is, so those funds can be used to hopefully enhance the team going forward. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think people get too wrapped up in the Twitter sort of transfer dealings, and there's no trophies handed out for players you sign, right? They're handed out at the end of May. And by and large, notwithstanding, look, there's obviously been a few errors here and there along the way where they didn't buy a centre-back when we desperately needed a centre-back, and then they bought Konate arguably a year too late, right? So, you know, look, they've got money. Obviously, they've got money because they spent they agreed 111 million quid deal with Brighton, right? But he's thinking, if that's the money I've got to spend, you know, for want of a more eloquent word, I don't want to spunk it on I want to be sure. Now, some people would say, no, be a bit more pragmatic. We need to be, you know, pragmatic. We don't need a world beater. We just need a half decent player to sign as a left centre back and another midfielder. And I think he feels like if it's not going to actually be an improvement on what I've got, then I may as well bide my time and wait.
This is the problem. Who's the fault here? If that's Jurgen Klopp's opinion, Turab, is this the ownership not giving him the funds? Or is it Jurgen Klopp not wanting or being stubborn in terms of the type of player that he's going for? So Sass says 111 million, we're ready to buy Caicedo, yet we don't think Lavia was worth 50 million at the time we were playing the bid. Obviously, it was too late when we were back in for it. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Or isn't it? Or are you clear?
No, this is the confusing thing. It's we clearly have the money. So
do we? So are we all three of us on the stream right now? Do all three of us agree that we do have the money?
Yeah, because we bid 100 mil.
Well, I'll tell you why. I asked the question to I'll tell you why I asked the question. There is many sections of the fan base, growing numbers, that are suggesting that was a PR stunt.
No. I've read about that, but the thing is, you don't then have Klopp coming out in a press conference and saying,
"We've agreed a fee."
Yeah, like if a fee is agreed, that means a fee have been agreed by the player and the club. That's obviously when the agent came in and obviously messed it all up. But the thing is, I just want to address your point, Sass. I understand completely. I don't have short memory. I'm not Klopp out. I just want to get that straight. I'm not Klopp out. No way. But I just feel like the model he is now working in no longer it allows him to maximize who he is because of how everyone else is spending money and how everyone is refreshing. And it's just, I feel like we've grown out of that model. Klopp coming in was the best thing that happened because of the situation we were in, you know, and everything was in place off this, like the transfer committee. He even addressed, I think in his first press conference, Grizz, I don't know if you remember, but he said that he was asked about the transfer committee. He was like, yeah, we will be working together and stuff. And obviously that worked in unison over the years and that led to our success. But my problem is that because we don't have everything in place off the pitch, it's affecting us on the pitch. And what I mean by that is that we are continuously wasting the peak years of the best players that we've ever seen, probably in our lifetime. Now, if we don't address our situations in this next 7 days, I genuinely, unfortunately, will have to cry next season when Mohamed Salah leaves, because I feel like that's going to happen. And that,
can we come on to Salah? Because I feel like that's a separate.
Yeah. I just feel like we're going to be wasting more the best years of our best players the longer we keep delaying our kind of, just keep stalling for the right player. How long waiting for the right player? Because the more you wait, the legs are going. Konate's picking up injuries left, right, and center. Virgil's not getting any younger. Same with Robbo, he's getting burnt out. Obviously, Fabinho lost his legs because there wasn't real rotation with him over the years. Salah's played every single bloody game over the last however many years. Do you know what I mean? I feel like attack we've evolved, but I feel like middle we're in the process, but it's not complete. It's just been so bad. I feel like the whole refresh.
Listen, I think there's definitely a question mark over why Julian Ward left, Michael Edwards, and is that their recommendations not being taken on board and not being acted upon? You know, was it really Michael Edwards saying we've got to sign Enzo Fernandez, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, and they've said no, right? Yeah. I think that look, what do I know? Yeah, if that's an issue,
you don't know anything. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly right. We know a little bit, but nothing of that sort of detail. Or is it a case of has Klopp got too much say, and too much control? And for example, take the Endo signing as an example. That was something that was just driven by Schmadtke and Klopp more than anything, and he had to twist FSG's arm to break the policy to sign a 30-year-old. Maybe that's an area of concern, right? Fair enough, right? And that does need sorting out. I think we do need a proper long-term sporting director. There is absolutely no doubt about that. The PR business, Grizz, that you refer to, I mean, it's a nonsense, right? You can tell how mental people are when they genuinely think like we've gone and agreed 110 million quid bid as just to get the FSG out brigade off their backs. I mean, it's like
I agree. It's an absolute nonsense, and it's coming from a place of frustration and desperation.
Conspiracy theorists.
Conspiracy theorists, which is so desperate for things to happen at Liverpool. If they don't happen, the things that did happen, like a bid, we refuse to believe. Do you get what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. They're super skeptical.
It's super skeptical, and so it's like, so that wasn't true, was it? That was just bullshit. And then they'll go to social media, read a few tweets. Oh my God, it's all making sense. That was a flag.
Yeah.
They're just, this is, just to get them off our case. Nothing will get fans off the ownership's case unless or until we start winning. So there's no other way out for them. We have to, in order for us or me, okay, I'll speak for myself. In order for me to not defend, as you said, we're not here to defend the owners. Who are we to defend the owners? They don't give a shit about us. They're custodians of our club. We just want our club to win games of football.
Yeah.
Correct.
As long as the club's winning games of football, overall, in the grand scheme of things, I don't care about owners. As long as we're winning games of football. Now, when you're not winning games of football, and then it's sustained over a period of time, and then like Turab said, you've got great players, great coaches, and you're not utilizing them to the best of their abilities, then you have to start scrutinizing why not.
Sure, but
and
if you take
saying why not, then you start looking at every strand of the club, like we are right now.
Can I just respond to that? And look, back end of last season, last 10 games or so, we were unbeaten. I don't want to jinx it because we've got a massive game tomorrow and it's going to be really tough, right?
You've done it.
I've probably jinxed it, right? So I've done it. But, look, I agree with you. So let's see how it unfolds let's give it 10 games, right? Let's at least give it we're 2 games in. We've got a point at the bridge, Could have been very different if that Salah wasn't offside. We scored the second. We were going to, my opinion, we would have won the game comfortably, right? But, and a home sort of if there is any such thing as a banker, you know, beating Bournemouth relatively comfortably, right? So let's see. It's first proper test, or second proper test, I should say, tomorrow. And if they start performing, you know, and I get it, you know, Konate's sounds like he's out, and we're worried about, you know, who's going to play, and it's Matip and Gomez and blah blah blah.
I have a theory about that.
Everyone's having a panic attack. Hopefully he will play. Hopefully he's just blagging it.
I will. If Endo plays centre back,
Endo,
go on.
I've just
Endo might play.
No. I just you just don't know, because I feel like
you're right. You don't know. He might surprise us.
Feel like
it's
a possibility, because
that would be such a. The thing is, right? If that happens, how much of a psychological slap will that be for Matip and Gomez?
Exactly.
And
no, I'm just saying, don't
play Gomez tomorrow. If Konate's out, he's got to play Gomez, surely, for the pace.
This is my point. So Sass, maybe we'll get onto the team, because no one's going to mention the game tomorrow. All the chat and the calls and everyone's in.
Everyone's down. Everyone's so down. We've had a point. We've got a point at the bridge. We've beaten Bournemouth 3-1.
Oh no, right? I can't wait for tomorrow.
No, what I'm trying to say is, listen, let me give you some positivity, right? Because I feel everybody needs a bit of positivity, right? Diaz is bang on it at the moment, right? Okay, goal at the bridge, goal, a tasty little finish at Anfield, right? Okay, he looks up for it. We got Mo on the other wing. Yeah, you've got Jota, you've got Gakpo. We'll come on to Gakpo midfield. Don't really like it. You've got Nunes on the bench. Look, we've got some serious options. Virgil is looking like a bit more like himself. Admittedly, it's only been 2 games. You know, Trent is Trent. Love him to bits, notwithstanding his deficiencies and faults. He's a class act for me. So I'm like, you know, and Robbo needs to needs to get acquainted with his new position. So I'm like, and we got the best goalie in the world. I'm like, it's not all bad.
No, it's not all bad, Sass. But surely, even a man of your positivity can see the issues as well. And we haven't addressed them. Does that not worry you? We have not addressed them. It's 6 days to go. We should be in a far stronger position, squad-wise, than we are.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Listen, I agree with that. And you know what? I reckon we're definitely going to sign one before the window. I mean, if we don't, it's people think we're not going to sign anyone, but I'm sure we will sign one. If not,
but should it be this late?
No. I know, but listen, when you're right, it shouldn't be. Ideally, it shouldn't be this late. But if you remember, Klopp said right at the beginning when he said we've got business to do this summer, right, and we'll try, and I want them all in. You know, I want all of them in, but 1 or 2 of them might take time. And they might be late, right? Hopefully, you know. Listen, they obviously wanted to sign this Andrade, the Brazilian kid who plays for Fluminense. Yeah, obviously after him, and I think he's. Let's see. I'd like to think that if they can't do a deal now, which doesn't look like they're going to do it, they'll do it in January, right?
I think it's going to be Kone. I just have a feeling.
I'll be happy with that,
because I've read that he doesn't want a specialist. He doesn't want a specialist 6. He wants someone that can do the 6 but also play.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I don't know if it's Kone, but he definitely wants a, you know, not a box to box, but you know what I mean. He wants an all action midfielder.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Gravenberch, but we can save that for another show.
Let's see. Oh wow,
Hamza says, rate these 3 for having a sensible, reasonable conversation without any Twitter platitudes and intellectual laziness for the sake of mainstream appeal.
All right, well then, don't follow me on Twitter then.
Yeah. But that's what it does, isn't it? Twitter, because the phone's in our hand.
Yeah.
We can't control our emotions. We're humans.
Yeah.
So however we feel when that phone is in our hand and we see something, it's just the speed, the reaction of thought, speed, mind, fingers sometimes doesn't equate, right? And you can't balance it, and we just tweet stuff, right? When you calm down and reflect,
we're all guilty of that.
We're all guilty. Come on, there's no such thing as a rational, logical tweeter. There isn't. This is reactionary, and then sometimes we think, but on my channel, each to their own. Every channel has a right to run and speak and content and talk about what they want and how they want. But on this channel, I'd like to think I encompass all opinions, and we have a chat, man. Like, I disagree with a lot what Sass says, he disagrees with me, but we never fall out. That's life. Turab may disagree, agree, but we're having a conversation. We're giving our opinions. People in the chat, so many variety of opinions, different opinions. People are saying, "Oh, Grizz always sits on the fence." Fucking hell, guys! If I sat on the fence,
it's just about understanding.
That fence would be no more if I sat on a fence. Trust me. I just speak my mind. If that comes across as you as favoring one side, that's on you. I'm speaking my mind, whether it's FSG, Klopp, transfers, whatever. I'm giving you my opinion. I'm not paid by FSG. I wish I was. I need to get paid, man. I'm not. I haven't got sponsorship by FSG or Liverpool Football Club. No one's watching me like that. So I give my opinion. I hate when people think it's driven towards
an agenda.
But the thing is, there is always an agenda, though, Turab, because agendas are made up of opinions. So if my opinions are strong and it comes across an agenda, then that's on you, the viewer, listener, subscriber. I'm not going to change or melt my view or mix my view just because it doesn't align with yours. You can disagree with it, but we can still talk about it. Do you know what I mean? I don't, again, many of my close mates think that was a PR stunt. Honestly, my good brothers, I grew up with them and they're like, "Oh, Grizz, come on, man, smell the coffee." And I'm like, I don't believe it was. What do you mean smell the coffee? I'm convinced it wasn't. So it doesn't mean we're not friends or we start accusing each other of, "Oh, you're, whatever. And many clever, smart people think it was a conspiracy theory. So look, it is what it is.
The only reason why we've not, can I say something before you? The only reason why we didn't sign Caicedo is because we've not paid the agent the 10 or 12 million quid that he got paid off Chelsea, and it's the wages, and it's the astronomical wages. That's it. Now people want to think, there's some kind of like PR stunt going. Fair play to them. Let them think that, but it's.
Bottom line is they went for money. Petit just came out and said, I don't know if you read the quote.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's the most obvious thing, guys.
Yeah,
it's the most obvious thing. He's been whoring out for different clubs, different months, different windows. He's been whoring out for Madrid, Arsenal, Liverpool at one stage, Chelsea, Man United. And look, fair play to him. His agents, between them and his agents, whatever they done, however they done it, they've got a fantastic deal. The agent, I speak to a couple of football agents, and they said the guy made millions from that deal. Millions. Yeah. And fair play to him. However he done it, he made us look like idiots, and there's no denying it. Guys, sometimes we have to humble ourselves and admit we were made to look like idiots. They played us.
I'm tired of it though, man. How many times is it gonna happen to us? It's tiring.
Listen, at least we made Chelsea pay an extra 30 million for the play.
Yeah, that's
the only upside.
Yeah.
Anyway, lads, I've taken up a lot of time. There's a lot of people in the chat. So
really appreciate the call, my man. Thank you.
Like button, lads.
See you soon, man. Good luck.
Yeah,
nice
take care, please. Thanks, please. Bye.
Sass, I get the pessimism, man. I get the. I'm not down. I'm not down, but I am worried and concerned about the window that we've just witnessed. I really expected, maybe not more in numbers wise, but actually I did numbers wise. So, because I still think we'll end up with how many I wanted, I wanted 4 or 5 in this window. So we brought in 3.
Yeah.
Whether we rate them or whether we don't, I don't give a shit. Jurgen Klopp's brought in 3 players for his team.
Yeah.
I still think he's going to bring in minimum another 1. Probably, hopefully 2. That's how many I wanted at the start of the window. I don't know about you. And practically, realistically, 4 or 5 first-team caliber players in would have been a great window. Now, the fact that the way it's played out and the timing of it is pissing me off.
No, I agree. You want to have a settled squad. You want them to have at least done a bit of preseason with us. And listen, I agree. But look, it's a long season. Hopefully they'll get 1 or 2 in, and it'll make a world of difference, man. It'll make a world of difference, I'm sure.
We've got the order for the next 3 callers: Avinash, Mex, and Zayan. Zayan, if you could show me a camera, please, because I don't think we've spoken before. Excellent. So the order is Avinash, Mex, and Zayan. I know Avinash is a Liverpool fan. I don't know the other two, so it could be any topic, it could be any agenda. But that's what me and Sass are here for. Bring us your opinions and thoughts. And if you want to argue with Sass. Don't argue with me, please. I'm very tired. Just take
I know you back me up, Grizz.
take out all your frustrations on Sass and not me, please. I'm awaiting a cup of tea because I'm very relaxed and I've got. Sass, you ended up going tomorrow or not?
You know what? I think not probably, yeah. But I'm tempted to. I was tempted to just get up at like 8 a.m. and just drive up. I would have gone if there was no train strike.
Yeah. Sass. By the way, people, Sass is home and away, like up and down the country. He's fearless. He even sometimes drags me out as well. But Avinash is next. Let's welcome Avinash to the stream. Avinash, hope you're doing very well, my brother.
I'm doing all right, Chris. I'm doing all right.
Good. Again, I know the answer. It's the same answer that everyone's given. From a personal point of view, you're blessed and everything is fine. From a Liverpool point of view, you are stressed and worried and panicked. Am I wrong?
To be honest, personally, it's been a bit turbulent for me the last few months. Okay. But to be honest, and so has Liverpool's transfer window, obviously. So in that way, we're in sync. Be trying to follow, seeing if Liverpool can give me the sort of boost and a bit of a fillip that I needed. It's not quite happened the way, obviously, all of us would have wanted. So I think there's been a lot of meltdown, especially over the past month, right? What has happened, we all know. I don't need to go over that. But the way I look at it, right, I just, sat back and looked at it in terms of just getting a bit of perspective. I think it's not so much the last month that we've gone wrong. It's more a failure of planning and strategy.
Agreed.
It's a series of decisions that we've been making over the last few years that led us to this point, right? From the time, when was the last time we signed a midfielder before this window? Obviously, it was Thiago in 2020, right? And he was injury prone. We know that. We knew it back then as well. So we didn't replace Gini when he left. We didn't sign a single midfielder. We kept leaving ourselves short. And last summer was absolutely the pinnacle where we knew we wanted Tchouaméni, right? We missed out on him, but then we chose not to replace him. And then we spent an entire season, or at least we were told, doing so much groundwork on Jude Bellingham, only to pull out at the last minute. And then we go for a player and bid what is possibly a bigger fee than what it would have taken for Bellingham, the 110 million. We are ready to break the English transfer record for a player which we didn't put the groundwork in for. And we tell you did. And so this is the thing. So if we knew that the sixth market, we all knew that the sixth market is really bad, right? So that's where a lot of the groundwork was needed to make sure that we have a priority target and we go after him. And I know this Fabinho thing was a bit sudden and all that, but clearly you don't think Fabinho is up for it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have sold him at any price. You know that he's declining. You know that there are some good 8 options on the market. As we found out, there are some bargains to be had. The 6 market is really thin. And Caicedo is someone we'd already done groundwork on last summer. So I don't understand why we went away from that model. And when we try to do, we don't do this. So the 2 things that have always been non-negotiable in the Klopp era have been, 1, we don't want players who are not committed, and we don't get into bidding wars. So why have we thrown all that out of the window? So that tells me that it's just poor planning. So where that comes from, we all have our opinions about it. Is it an FSG thing? Is it a Klopp thing? To me, it's obviously, as always, the truth is in between, right? It's never one or the other. There's been a lot of factions in the fan base over the last few weeks, especially since Klopp's comment came out, right? I don't know where this is coming from. There are people who are either anti-Klopp or anti-FSG. So it's never as binary as that. But
Avinash, I'm so sorry. There's always one guy who always catches my attention in the chat, who just doesn't listen and ignores anything I say, but yet just wants to just say the same thing again and again and again. Avinash, I've agreed with what you've said, right? Avinash, what have you just said? You've said our issues are not about this window, it's the last 2-3 windows. And what did I say while you said it? What was I saying? Well, you said, I said, I agree. I completely, I was nodding my head in agreement. Right. Avinash, you've probably been watching my shows, hopefully. And I think you know my opinions on the issues. And Sass, you definitely know I've been moaning about the last few windows and the process. And I've been saying we're falling behind, right?
For sure.
This guy, I know watches my shows because he's always in the chat. Grizz, we've been arguably 3 windows behind this one, which is the most important in 7 years, and the club is a mess. Yet you still sit on the fence. That is the definition of fence sitting. I don't want to swear at him because he's a follower and he's a subscriber, right? But how can I always keep calm? like when I see people like this. I've literally on every show this week, God knows how long I've been saying it, we've messed up the last 3-4 windows. This is a catalog of missed opportunities. We've always leave ourselves short. And as a result, as Avinash says, now we left ourselves too much to do in one window. Therefore, that's why I said if we brought in 4 or 5 players, realistically, that would be as much as we could expect in a realistic world, a non-Chelsea world. Apart from no other club can do something like that just in one window. But it's because of our mistakes. It's because of our errors. Whether that's Klopp, like Avinash says, whether that's owners, whether that's the sporting directors, it's the collective. Yet this guy or woman, I don't know if it's a bloke or a woman, says I sit on the fence. Well,
to be fair, you're hosting a show, right? So there has to be a semblance of balance. But I think to be fair, you're pretty clear in terms of
he says,
where
swear
you
if
do
it makes you feel better. Release steam. I can handle insults. I don't want to insult you. That's not the purpose. I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying and speak on what I say instead of what you think you hear. You know, what you hear is not my problem. But so sorry, Avinash. But you're right. Avinash, it's an issue that's been ongoing and we've made mistakes. We made errors. We haven't done enough. Bare minimum. Every window is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But the bare minimum has got us to okay levels of success. Not enough, but not a disaster. The bare minimum in this window, and I come to you, Sass.
Yeah.
The bare minimum in this window will be a disaster. I've said it, and I'll say it again for the people that think I sit on the fence. The bare minimum will be a disaster in this window because of this last season that we've had and the players and the experience and the level of player that we've let go.
But what's your definition of bare minimum? Is that like if we don't buy anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got my tea as well. You got water. Bare minimum is if we don't do anything else. Actually, no. Hear me out, guys.
Yeah, go on.
Even if we bring in one player, that's the bare minimum. And right now, it's not even bare minimum. Right now is a disaster.
So is that one player midfielder or a centre back?
Great question.
That's the question.
I'm having sleepless nights and 50-50.
I think it's for me. I think it's a centre back.
I worry and I tend to agree. But then I don't think our midfield's ready and complete. But I think the strength in depth is slightly more.
Yeah. Listen, you got Thiago. I was going to say you got Thiago. I know injury prone, Avnish, as you rightly pointed out. But there's him. There's Basetic hopefully coming back. Then we should be, there should be sufficient strength. You'd like another one on
Not
top.
sufficient.
I listen.
Make do.
Yeah. If we're lucky with injuries.
Kurt says, Yorkshire Tigers, what are we saying? Always PG tips, man. Always. If you ever invite me for tea, make sure it's PG tips. Otherwise, don't invite me. Avinash, do you agree with the statement that I made? Or have I sat on the fence? Or have I made it clear that if we bring in one more player, I still think that's the bare minimum, which means hasn't been good enough. We need 2. We need, like Sass says, a midfielder and a centre back.
Yeah.
And then it will have been a satisfactory window. The quality of the player then determines whether it's an outstanding window, quality-wise. But numbers-wise, it's very much satisfactory. Avinash, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I think the situation we've left ourselves in, it's going to be very difficult for it to look very good quality-wise. Because for me, they were like, I've been thinking about this, right? There were 3 transformational players available in this window. And this is not even including Jude Bellingham. For the positions we need, which is right now DM and left centre back, there was Rice, there was Caicedo, there was Guardiola. These were the 3 transformational players. And for whatever reason, we missed out on all 3, right? So whatever we get, whoever we get, unless they pull out something that I've never heard of, in which case we can't really tell, right? That's always going to be something that will reveal itself in due course. So whatever we get, it's going to look a little short quality-wise compared to what our rivals have, especially in those 2 positions, right?
Yep.
So that's a given. So what do we do then? So in that sense, I would say at least let us look good numbers wise. Let's go and get a couple of rough diamonds, so to speak. So Gravenberch is one that we've been linked to quite a lot, or a Kone, right? In terms of centre back, there's been a couple of links, Arthur Theat and Hincapie, right? So looks like Hincapie might not happen. I think there was a report recently. So basically, it's down to these 4 players and Andre as well. So what we can do is just go and get 2 of those and make sure that at least numbers wise we're looking good, and then trust Klopp and the coaching team to get the best out of them on the pitch. As it is, I don't know if we are title challengers, because I don't know if I feel like that ship might have sailed, unless of course Man City drop a level and Arsenal aren't as good as we think they are. So that I feel is gone anyway. That's again a series of wrong decisions that have got us to this point, that somehow in 12 months they've suddenly gone from a almost quadruple winning team to a team that's hoping to get top 4. And that is a very sobering thought, whichever way you think about it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That for me is a problem. So the best we can do, reiterating what I said, is just make sure, go and get those 2 players that we need and make sure that at least we have the numbers to compete.
Sas?
That's the way I look at it.
Listen, I mean, Avnish talks sense. I mean, if we can go and look in an ideal world, you would get either Gravenberch or Kone, and you'd have the centre backs that he's referring to, and then with Andre. Is it Andre? How do I say is this the guy's name?
Yeah, Andre's fine. Andre
Trindade or something like that. It may be in January. Then I'd be absolutely over the moon. I'd be like, job done. I mean, for me, I thought Laporte was a bit of a miss.
Do you think you would have gone for him? I like him, but
I just thought we wanted him before.
Do you know he gives me Agger vibes, Daniel Agger vibes?
Yeah,
now Daniel
he's
Agger,
injury prone.
Yeah. So when Agger was fit and ready to play, he was what a player.
Rolls Royce.
If people don't remember Daniel Agger, go and watch videos of Daniel Agger. Daniel Agger was a Rolls Royce, great example. But he was just always worried about his body in terms of knocks and strains, and like he was the Daniel Sturridge of centre backs, right? Laporte is classy like that. I don't know if we wanted to take another risk on or we should have. I
just thought 23 million or 24, whatever it was, experience. You know, it's plug and play, assuming he's fit.
It might have been more for us though.
Yeah, that's true.
Would Man City deal with us? I don't think they would have a problem.
I doubt
what do you think? You doubt it?
I don't know because they did sell Sterling and Jesus. I don't know if they regret it now, especially with Jesus, because it became a bit of a problem for them potentially. Yeah, it's very difficult to know.
I was going to say, Avnish, I don't think they see us as the threat that we used to be. Certainly, if we were toe to toe with them, then I think it'd definitely be a no. But you you never know. But who knows? We may have even inquired and it was a no. I mean, this is what I'm trying to say. But listen, if we can sign the players that you're referring to, then I think we'll all be happy. You know.
But if we don't, But if we don't,
let's see. There's 7 days to go. You never know.
No, but I'm asking you if we don't.
Oh, if we don't, then Quant better be the next the next VVD, and Curtis Jones better turn into Steven Gerrard. But so listen, I look. You can't. People are you're sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't. You bid his Premier League transfer record for a player. He turns you down, and people spin it the other way. People say, "Oh, they don't show enough ambition." Listen, look.
Avinash, I want to ask you actually. Me and Sas were discussing. I don't know if you was listening earlier with another caller. There's a lot of conspiracy theories from sensible people that are suggesting that it was a ploy, a PR play or a ploy. What's your thoughts?
No, I don't believe it. That's exactly what it is. It's a conspiracy theory. It's so very obvious. It doesn't add up. I mean, that is like some serious games that you don't really have to play. Like, I don't think they care about an FSG out hashtag. FSG out has been trending for 3 years now. Surely that's not going to make them go and bid an English. I mean, that's a massive.
By the way, guys, breaking news. Yeah, people that are asking me, I get DMs saying, "Put hashtag out." Guys, they don't give a shit. It only makes you look like a kid and a child. They couldn't give a shit about your hashtags. Absolutely. They only care about their pockets. Yeah. Hashtags has no effect on their pockets. Let me tell you that for a fact.
And I've heard people comparing it to like a government, how they play man, but that's totally different. The government wants to be re-elected. FSG don't need election. They are there. They can't do anything about it.
Correct.
So,
Exactly. But Avinash, then if that's the case, and both of you now,
Yeah.
if that wasn't a ploy, if that wasn't a PR stunt, and there's genuinely money there to be spent on Caicedo, 111 million, right? And now we've spent 16 of that on Endo. That means, according to my rubbish and crappy maths even, there's roughly circa 80, 90 million pound left of minimum budget, because that's what we were ready to pay for Caicedo. Maybe we had more than that if we sold a few.
Yes.
So there's a minimum 80 to 90 million pound to be spent. Avinash and Sass, if that is not spent, or if that is withheld, or we made excuses that we don't spend it, then the blame game has to come out. The questions have to be asked. Who decided not to spend that then? Because if Jurgen Klopp has chosen, and it seems very clear, guys, and correct me if you disagree, that Endo is a Jurgen Klopp George signing combined.
Definitely.
So then if there's 80, 90 million pounds spent from the owners, ready to be spent, because us three agree that it's not a conspiracy theory, there was money. What do we do then? How do you answer people that say, well, what the money? What's going on then? Why are we not spending then? How do you reply?
I had some thoughts on this. Actually, this is in line with what Klopp was talking about yesterday, right? Because there's a lot of confusion.
Go for it. Give us your thoughts and opinions.
It doesn't add up.
I'm going to have some tea and I'm going to listen.
Yeah, so it doesn't add up, right? We just bid an English transfer record 2 weeks ago, and then he actually said the very next day that the club has really stretched and they've done a lot. And then he comes out and says he's being held back. So what is the problem here? So the way I interpret the situation is the money is there. There is nothing stopping us from getting Doucouré and Hincapié, for instance, and spending 70 plus 40, whatever. The money is there. But the problem I see is if that fails, we don't have the luxury to go and correct those mistakes. That is where I think FSG are holding us back, or that's at least what Klopp is trying to say. That the money is there to spend, but we have to be absolutely sure that the player will work out. If he doesn't, look at what happened with Naby. We were stuck with him for 5 years. Do you think Man City would have kept him around till the end of his contract? We even tried to offer him a new contract, for heaven's sake. Do you think that would happen at Man City? It wouldn't, right? So the way I see it is they have to be absolutely spot on with whatever recruitment they do. And if Klopp doesn't feel that's the case, he is the one who has the final say. He's always said this. And maybe he's had more control since Michael Edwards, or maybe that's why he left. We don't know that. That's all still theories.
Sure.
But that's
Before I come back with mine, Sass, what's your theory then, in opinion on that?
Listen, I think that's on Klopp saying no. I agree with Avnish. Basically, ultimately, look, transfers are spending 100 million on a player, or is not going to guarantee the guy's going to be a success, right? We know that. Okay, maybe there's more likelihood, one would think, but there's plenty of examples of, from Torres to Pogba to whoever, and who knows how Caicedo is going to work out. Although I think he will. I think it's definitely on Klopp saying, I'm not sure about the players, therefore I'm going to save my bread for another day, kind of thing. It's definitely that. Having said all of that, I think there's an element of, look, I just think we don't need world beaters. Yeah, we really don't. We don't need the best midfielder in the world to buy, or a top 10 midfielder. We don't need a top 10 centre back. There has to be an element of pragmatism, and I think it would be, what's the word I'm looking for? It would be, we're asking for trouble if we don't sign certainly another midfielder or centre back. And hopefully he will not, because I get the sense that he's quite stubborn.
It's not a sense. I think it's fairly.
Yeah, I'm trying to be balanced, but yeah, he's
stubborn. Balanced sometimes. Let it go.
Yeah.
It's a safe space on this channel.
First time doing this, man. But
Avinash,
yeah,
the cracks in your theory, not cracks, your theory is solid. But the question I would ask is, are we in a position because Jurgen Klopp alluded to himself, guys, about taking risks. What did he mean by that then? If you're saying that it's Jurgen Klopp not willing to take that risk in case it's a mistake and they're stuck with the player, to me, that doesn't make sense, because like Sass says, every signing is a risk, guys.
Yeah.
Every signing is a risk. We don't know. Sometimes it's nailed on that there's going to be a success. For example, a Jude Bellingham, but the less we talk about that, the better for our own sanities and health. But majority of transfers are a risk. We don't know whether they're going to work. I don't fall for this, whether it's 100 million or 5 million, whatever. I don't. I've seen way too much football and transfers in my life. And Sass has as well, because we're both golden oldies. I mean, as you're young still. But we've seen way too much football and transfers to know that price matters. You can get a brilliant player in Gini Wijnaldum for 30 million and an absolute flop in Naby Keita for 60 million. It makes no difference, the price tags, right?
Yeah.
So I don't buy that. But I don't know the answer though.
Yeah. So I think it's how you look at risk. It's about what do you think he means when he says risk? I think the way he's talking about it is FSG are not willing to take risks.
Oh, okay.
The way he's talking about is if something doesn't work out, they are not willing to sort of rectify that mistake and go again into the transfer market. So that's how I'm looking at that statement.
So that means they're not releasing the funds for players that they're not sure about, or the recruitment and analysis team are not sure about, because they don't select the players that we.
Yeah.
They say, for example, my series.
Okay, isn't it? I found this on the web for example. Check it out.
Oh, shut up. I don't know why that happens, man. But because the way I understand we operate is the recruitment analysis team, the brain boxes, select targets, go to Jurgen Klopp. These are the ones that are suited best for what we think we need. What's your thoughts? Jurgen Klopp says yes, no. Interesting. Okay, let's do what we need to do. So you're suggesting that, for example, let's just say Decore, we know he's a target. I know we've had talks with his club. They want 80 million. We're valuing at 60 million. You're then saying that FSG are saying, we'll give you 80 million, but you've got to be 100% sure it's going to work. Otherwise, are we saying it may hinder your budget for the next term?
Exactly that.
Along those lines?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So in that case, it's up to Klopp. And I feel...
That makes no sense.
Listen, I agree with that. I think that's spot on. I mean, and that's where you sense the friction is internally.
Right.
And
I think
he wants more flexibility.
He wants, he wants more. I think he wants more flexibility to maybe get it wrong, and it not going to cost him down the line in the future.
So then it comes back to, it is an FSG problem in essence, but that's their model.
Right. So
and he also agrees with that.
So correct. This is where I have a point, right? So this is why we have to be absolutely well run, right? The recruitment has to be on point. Everybody has to be singing off the same hymn sheet, and it has to be a very smooth operation, which it has been for the most part. But now I feel like there's a bit of a trust that's been broken between Klopp and the recruitment. I don't think there is. Klopp and his coaching team don't seem to trust the names that are coming out in some ways. And Michael Edwards was the bridge, right? In some ways, because he had almost as much power as Klopp. He could overrule. He could, basically have his own say. Now that person is not there, the coaching team pretty much have a say on whether, they accept or reject those names. And all the recruitment team can do is just, come up with these names. So there is a lot of problems, I think, at all levels of the football club is, in summary, the point I'm trying to make.
Avinash, sorry, go on. Sorry to interrupt. Please finish your point.
No, go ahead. I had pretty much done with the point. Yeah.
I was going to say, if what I read is correct, that basically, I think that friction started with the whole Henderson contract renewal. Because what I was reading, I don't know whether it was in the Athletic or wherever it was, but the talk was that Michael Edwards was not in favor of giving him the contract renewal, And it was at that stage where these names like Enzo Fernandez and the others ones had been mooted at whatever it was at these lower transfer fees. Having said all of that, and people are saying, oh, well, that's why he's, you know, that's why Edwards left and all the rest of it. Mind you, he hasn't taken another job. Yeah. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he'd written a letter about why he was leaving and all the rest of it. And it's pretty much to take time off. So who knows what's true.
Yeah, it's so,
but I think
you're right. You're right, Sash. Who knows?
Clearly, it's not functioning as smoothly as it used to, though. You're right. You're spot on.
But that's what happens when there's issues or problems. Excuse me, on the pitch.
Yeah,
you start looking for reasons, and obviously, sometimes when you dig deep, you start looking at things off the behind the scenes and say, well, where was there a disconnect along the line? And Edwards leaving, I think, was a massive disconnect at that chain of command throughout the whole operation.
No, the worrying thing is then Julian Ward leaving 12 months later.
Less than that, right?
Less than that, or something like that, right? Yeah.
Right.
So
look, in my opinion, may be informed, may not be. Who knows? Again, there was issues. In my opinion, Edwards didn't want to give Henderson a new deal or Milner, just like he didn't want to give Gini, and he won that battle. In my opinion, Klopp vetoed that and overruled him. And Edwards was at a point, in my opinion, in his career, in the body of work that he's produced for Liverpool, to suggest he should have the right to win that. And again,
Klopp or Edwards? Sorry, Klopp. Edwards, yeah, fair. I agree.
And in my opinion, that wasn't taken too well by Edwards. But we'll never know the true story. We may do. Avinash, tomorrow. Let's get on to tomorrow. What are you doing with the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is only two real positions of doubt for me. It's who starts up front and who partners Van Dijk. I think the rest of the team pretty much picks itself. Like, Endo has been brought in to do a job.
Are you assuming Endo?
Yeah. I think he's been brought in to do a job that doesn't make any sense to not have him do it. I think we all want to see McAllister in the 8. Like, he's done a good job at a 6, but definitely we all want to see him, and we're excited to see what he can do there. And we do need that semblance of control. I think McAllister is the controller. We don't need him to be doing 2 roles. His job is to control and keep the ball and a lot of the things that Gini gave us, but a little more progressive at the same time. So definitely I want to see Endo there, and I think he will start. Of course, there may be a curveball, who knows, with Klopp. But if he was ready to throw him on with half a training session and 30 minutes on the pitch down to 10 men, he was still ready to throw him on, so I expect him to start. So really, it's who starts up front. I think you could pick any 3. I think it'll be Jota because he has the shirt, I feel. He had a good game. Gakpo, unfortunately, is playing out of position and didn't have a great game or 2 games. So that might count against him, which is a little unfair because that's really not his position. But I just think it might be Jota. And Van Dijk's partner. For some reason, he seems to prefer Matip in that wide centre-back role, even though on paper it seems like Gomez is a better fit. So that has always baffled me. I think it's baffled everyone. So again, probably it'll be Matip for those reasons. So, but those are the really only 2 positions of dispute as far as I'm concerned.
Avinash, it's been a pleasure as always speaking to you, my friend. I think I've enjoyed our segment, probably the best one of today. I really enjoyed that chat. You made some very good points. Got me and Sass thinking as well, which is quite an achievement to get us.
I've been doing a lot of thinking about
Oh, it's good. A lot of Liverpool fans have been doing a lot of thinking, man.
I know.
You know, contemplating, reflecting, thinking, praying, hoping. Hopefully all our answers, thoughts, prayers will be answered and in a positive light. Avinash, speak soon, my brother. Take care of yourself.
Good catching up, guys.
Great call.
Very good. Measured.
He made a lot of good points though, and I'm with him a lot on a lot of the points.
Yeah, he talks sense.
It's a lot of situations arising, man. We've got a couple of more callers that I wanted to come in. Got an important game tomorrow, man. But obviously, things off the scene, behind the scenes are taking up. This Mohamed Salah, very quickly before we let the other callers in, or we don't know what they want to talk about. So, but this Mohamed Salah thing, what do you make of this, man? Okay, let me put it out there. I think if this happened at the start of the window,
he'd be
I
gone.
think Salah would have been gone.
Yeah. To be honest with you, from what I understand, look, some people claim to. I don't want to get into the whole ITK thing, right? Okay, but so let's park that. Huh?
Leave that to me.
I'll leave that bit to you. Yeah. But 100% I agree. Listen, I think they're prepared to pay 150. I think you'd probably even get them to pay closer to 200. Yeah, to buy him. Yeah, 200 million quid for a 31-year-old, right? Who is a goat. Who is a GOAT, right? Certainly in our eyes. I know there's a lot of people who argue the whole Salah business and all the rest of it. But I'm a seller all day long at those levels, personally. Assuming that money goes back into the kitty and doesn't get spent buying a US franchise or buying a US hockey team or something else or building another extension. We don't need any more extensions. We need the money in the team, right? 150%. But I agree with you in terms of the timing, and I think he's definitely next summer a goner. And frankly, it's the right time to do it.
No problems, no issues.
You know, yeah,
I agree with you. I think the timing from the Saudi team is a bit ill-advised. Don't know what they're playing at. If they had these plans,
well, that's maybe a bit of we're about to play Newcastle. Funny that, hey?
Yeah, I've heard that theory being bashed about. I get it.
I don't buy it. But
Salah's too professional to let these things. Salah don't care about hype and what people. Salah's the ultimate cool dude, man. You know what I mean? He don't care about what people may be thinking or whatnot. You know what I mean? He spent a whole year listening to rubbish about signing and the extension of not doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, hopefully he scores a brace tomorrow, hat trick, and his price goes up even more.
Exactly. Super chat to address Javid Iqbal. Appreciate the support. He says, Does everyone fear that we aren't going to make any more signings? FSG are happy to accept mediocrity. We are several players away from challenging. Yeah, I think a lot of people are fearful of not making any signings. I'm not one of them. I believe we will make signings. Are FSG happy to accept mediocrity? They'd be stupid or crap businessmen if they were, right, Sass?
Yeah.
And that's what we know they're not. They're not crap businessmen.
Listen, I think we're obviously trying to buy football players, right? Aren't we? I mean, so, and FSG, no, listen, I don't claim to know FSG, right? But obviously no one in their right mind or as a business would say we want to accept mediocrity. So I think that goes out the window. Whether or not our box that we work in is sufficient to enable us to hit the heights that we did hit previously remains to be seen, right?
Yeah.
And people are doubting that. People are seeing all this money being splashed left, right, and center and thinking, well, we're not at the races, right?
Yeah.
So, mind you, is that we are several players away from we're a lot of players away from challenging?
So the last comment I was going to say. So we've addressed the other two. I agree. There's a lot of people fearing that we're not making any more signings. In fact, a lot of people are convinced we're not. I'm not one of them. Are FSG happy to accept mediocrity? If they are, they're stupid businessmen because it'll only affect their product and their asset. Right. And we are several players away from challenging. I think we're too, in my humble opinion, we are too solid. Before people say, what? Really? Yes, really. In my opinion, we are two solid players away from challenging. Those two players is a very competent, at least on the level of Konate centre-back, and a midfielder on the level of the ones that we brought in, especially a defensive-minded centre-back. Or even if it's not a DM per se, but his qualities are more aligned with the defensive side of the game as opposed to the offensive side of the game. Appreciate the support, appreciate the super chat. Next caller will be Zayan. After that will be Quasi. Zayan, welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're doing very well.
Salam, Grizz.
Doing well. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good. I'm good. Sass is definitely good. He's traveling around the world every month. He's got nothing to do with that, or he's good. I'm good. I haven't traveled as much as him, but we're good. And it's going to be the same standard answer. We're good. We're a little bit unsure about Liverpool, but Liverpool might not even be your team. Who do you support? Let us know where you're calling from and who's your team.
Yeah, I'm calling from Boston. I've been supporting Liverpool since I was like 13. So, been following you for a while. Haven't really spoken or like made my opinions well known on Twitter or anything, but I like following you guys.
Welcome,
Love
welcome,
your
welcome,
opinion.
sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. So, I guess a question to you guys, and I guess a difficult question. How much of the blame of all the transfers or lack of transfer strategy that has been going on falls on Klopp himself and management team?
Great question. Percentage wise, how do we do it? I don't know. Like,
I think we kind of touched upon it on the last segment a little bit, in the sense that, look, it's obviously, you know, when we were doing well, it was obviously a well-oiled machine, right? So from top to bottom, whether that was the, you know, the Boffins, Michael Edwards, and the team, down to the coaching staff and the transfer committee, or whatever you want to call it. So obviously that's not been kind of running as smoothly as one would like it to, clearly, right? You know, if it's a question of who's ultimately not pulling the trigger on deals, I think, look, in my humble opinion, and I could be completely wrong, but I think that's Jurgen, in terms of saying if he's not ultimately happy with the player that's being proposed or that they can buy, I think he's saying, look, I'm going to hold on to the money and wait. You know, I don't think it's through a lack of effort, though. I think they've been trying to do things. We've been stung on a couple of deals, and I don't know. That's my view of it, basically. Grizz, what do you think?
I want to know what Zion thinks, because I've been giving my opinions and views all over platforms, man. I want to know, this is your show. This is your opinions. I want to know your thoughts, man. People are bored to death of listening to me. Tell us what you think, who's to blame, if there's a blame, or give us your opinion.
I think personally, I think Avinash touched on it. There's been a lack of transfer strategy in reinventing and kind of revitalizing the identity that Klopp brought in initially. Because obviously now we know that the initial team that Klopp brought in is now fading away. And this has kind of been the criticism of Klopp from previous clubs as well, that he can't rebrand a team. Kind of like what Guardiola has done with his new team. And that's kind of been, you know, the whole 7 season syndrome with Dortmund that he brought in, that he couldn't reinvent that Dortmund side. I think a little bit of the blame does fall into Klopp's hands. I agreed with Avinash when he said that he works within a certain budget that he cannot get wrong. And if he gets it wrong, then he doesn't have the owners of Man City, Chelsea, where he can dip into the transfer market again and be like, okay, now I get it right. And similarly, I think people forget this. The way Liverpool have rebranded their attack is what was needed with the midfield and defense. So if you remember, they bought Jota in first, then they went and bought Nunez over the summer, then they bought Luis Diaz, and I think it was Jota, then Diaz, then Nunez, and then Gakpo. So you never really felt that transition up top, even though those were our 3 mainstays up top. And that's what we needed in the midfield, obviously, and we kept leaving ourselves short. And now we were in the position that United has been for such a long time, where we needed to buy 4 or 5 players to fill in gaps in the starting 11 that probably didn't exist before. So I think a little bit of the blame does fall into the manager, and clearly there's something going on behind the scenes, and everyone will kind of have their opinion on what's been happening. But I think a lot of it does fall onto Klopp, the management, and just not being to reinvent the way they did their attack and have it go through all throughout the pitch.
You make some look. There's nothing more to add or subtract from what you said because it's your opinion, as I said, and everyone's has their valid opinion. They can say what they want, and everyone can make it make sense. What you've said is true. You make some very valid points, Zayan, and have touched upon them again. I don't want to go through them again for the purpose of the show because they've already been touched upon. We've already spoken about them for the best part of 2 hours, but appreciate you calling in and airing your views and opinions. There's no point in me going through them again and again and again. They're pretty much what we've touched upon. But Sass, anything to add and subtract?
Listen, I think, like you said, we've kind of, I think it's been covered to a certain extent. But look, at the end of the day, on a slightly different note, this game tomorrow, the attack. Look, I think you're right in terms of the way the attack. It feels like we have transitioned the attack.
We have,
and to be fair to them, they've done that fairly well and quite economically, with all things considered. But like I said, there's a game tomorrow, and I'm feeling. I'm beginning to get excited about it, and
as we should,
because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about what happens on the pitch and progress on the pitch. Now, I could be saying something completely different if we're leaving Newcastle with the tails between our legs, but I'm hopeful. We should hopefully put in a decent performance and hopefully at least get a point or the win.
What do you think, Zayan, tomorrow? Let's get away from off the scene. Let's talk about on the pitch to finish off this particular call. What do you think of tomorrow's game? How do you think you see it going, and what would you do with the lineup?
I think it's one of the toughest fixtures now in the Premier League.
For sure.
St. James's Park away, especially with that midfield. I think it's the most physical midfield you'll get in the Premier League. And it's a great test for kind of the new Liverpool midfield with Szoboszlai, McAllister, and now it looks like Endo. If we do get a win tomorrow, I promise you the mood of the whole football club and Twitter, everything will change because that's just how it is.
I still think it won't. Honestly, I don't. I think sections of the fan base are so engulfed and so engrossed in just transfers, and the whole success of a football club is based on a transfer in and out. Honestly, I don't believe it will change. It might change for a few hours, but then come Monday and Tuesday, it will be back on the bandwagon of, if this doesn't happen, we're finished. There's no in between. That's my point. There has to be an in between. There has to be a balance.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot.
Finished.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think there's a lot to look forward to. The two midfielders that we have brought in earlier in the window, they look like serious players.
Absolutely. Look, we started off like a house on fire in the transfer market. I think we've made two of the most shrewdest buys amongst all the doom and gloom, and I absolutely understand it because I'm one of those ones who's pissed off with the lack of activity since. Was pissed off with the speed and the process and the way we approached the Caicedo Lavia. We had Lavia in the bag. We had all agreed everything. It was just a small matter of structure of payments with Southampton. And then for some reason, or we don't know, for some reason we targeted Caicedo because we thought we may have a chance. But it seems apparent that the agents played us and said, look, there may be a chance. What are you saying? And we thought we got to go for it. And as a result, we lost Lavia. So I agree that was a publicity disaster publicly. But we can rectify it, Zen. We can rectify it in the last week. And we can buy back the feel-good factor, like you say. We can buy back the good feel-good factor by bringing in two players. Winning tomorrow, to me, is of paramount importance. It's the only thing that matters on my mind. We need to go there tomorrow and get a result. If that's a draw, so be it.
Would you take a point, though, Grizz? Now, if someone said
all day long.
Zayan, what about you?
I agree. I think anyone right now that goes to St. James's Park and comes away with a point, that's a good point.
Fair enough.
I think it's a very, very tough place to go now. And I think Liverpool fans can be excited by the fact, I know we shouldn't be looking at other clubs, but no one looks settled except for maybe Man City. It's going to be a very open season. Clearly, Arsenal fans are disgruntled with Havertz and them changing their system. Chelsea obviously have a brand new team with a brand new coach. Spurs much of the same. United much of the same. So you can kind of go ahead and say that Liverpool will be in and around the top regardless, just because of how transitional this season will be for most of the big clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that makes it even more frustrating, knowing that, let's say, if we think that we might be best of the rest type of thing, that with one or two half decent signings, we could really be pushing.
We could be. Listen, Zian, thank you very much for calling in, my friend. It's been very nice chatting to you. We need to kind of wrap it up in the next few minutes, and we've got a couple of callers to go. But appreciate the call, my brother. All the best, and look forward to hearing from you again.
Yeah,
All the
absolutely.
best.
You guys.
Take care. Bye-bye. Let's get the last caller probably of the night. I need to go, man. I'm not confident about tomorrow, Sass, but I'm not fearing it.
Yeah, listen.
I'm thinking, bring it on. It's a game of football. Come on, we need to test ourselves. Klopp needs to test himself. He's made issues. He's made mistakes. He's not been himself last season. Tactical errors, selection errors, whatever. Transfer situation will handle itself in the last week. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's go out there and put on a performance tomorrow. Let's not dampen or heighten the negativity and the mood by getting thrashed. Even if we put up a good showing and we lose, it will be crazy down. But
I don't think we're going to get. I mean, God forbid, I don't think we're going to get thrashed. Worried like that?
No, I'm not worried. That's what I said. I'm not worried about.
Will bring the best out of us. The atmosphere there is going to be. It's going to be bouncing.
It did last season.
Yeah, I mean, we did okay there last season. And they played well as well. To be fair,
they did. But we started off like a house on fire. If it wasn't for that sending off, that would have been 3-0 up, right? That Salah was about to score, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that would have been 3-0. God knows what the score would have ended up. But I'm not fearing it. It's not one of those games where I'm thinking, fuck, tomorrow.
But it's one of those games you can't call. It could be a win, lose, or draw, basically.
Spot on. Let's bring in the next caller. It's Kwazi, who's a regular. Has been on many times before. Hope you're doing well, Kwazi. How you doing?
I'm doing well, brother. Good to see you. It's been a while.
You too. Good to see you. It has been a while. How you been? Talk to us.
I'm doing well. Good to see you, Sasido.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you. That's a serious mic you got there.
Oh, I'm copying the Godfather over there. So, whatever he does, I have to.
Don't copy me, man. I'm a flop, man. I'm a flop. Don't copy
my mind is a little bit dark and a little bit darker, but it's same thing.
It's all good.
But Grizz, Liverpool fans, we need to. Okay, this is just a public announcement, right, guys? Mental health is real. We have to be careful with that. Football is an escape for us, not supposed to be the stressor. We're supposed to use football to get away from the rest of the world. That 2 hours that we watching the game is the greatest escape ever. And that's why I always say mental health is real. So we have to take care of ourselves. But we move on. Tomorrow, I like when Liverpool plays a good team. Excuse me. We have to be a little bit more sharper than the teams that we're supposed to beat, right? Because that Bournemouth game, that first 20 minutes, it messed my whole first half up. But if you look at the Chelsea one, the way we started with that 30 minutes, it was a team that, we're going to be a problem. So tomorrow's game, I'm excited about it. I don't fear Newcastle. As a matter of fact, this season, I even tweeted this. It's going to be a hard season for everybody. I was very impressed with Brighton, the way they started the league. And then today, what happened? West Ham and the genius named David Moyes went there and look what he did. So it's not going to be an easy league for everybody. So I'm expecting an exciting league. City, because of their manager, that's the only reason why I will give them as they are the favorite, and that's because of the manager. The same thing I give favorite to Liverpool because of the manager. But City is going to struggle. KDB gone for half of the season. I don't know if you guys been paying attention. Haaland is getting frustrated every single time because Foden and Grealish, as great as they are, they can't see that pass that KDB sees.
That's fair enough.
Goodingen was the safety net. When KDB can't do his thing, Goodingen was the one who was able to, get it done. I mean, he took the quad away from us, right? So they're trying to replace him, but where are you going to find another Goodingen? Goodingen is not just the skill, it's the brain that he has in the game.
Yeah, he was a class act.
So they're going to struggle. Yeah, they're going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be that far off unless the rest of the league falls off. And then one thing also people are not paying attention, Pep just had a back surgery. If I was his advisor, I would have begged him not to ever do a back surgery. That's one of the worst surgeries you could ever do. It doesn't go away. That is also something that people need to pay attention on because he's not going to be himself. And we know how Pep takes things so seriously. Well, I don't know if you guys know about Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr. He had the same issues where it took him out of the game. I mean, for a long period of time, a very long, because there was always an issue that he had to go repair. There's always something that he has, even though he has the best doctors on the planet, still there's always something that you have to go repair. So that's something that people need to pay attention because that could also affect them. The main man is always important to have him be there all the time, But the rest of the league, I'm excited. Like I'm with Grizz, and it's not like, oh, he's my, like I say, one of my mentors. But I'm just saying, Liverpool, we're gonna be all right. This is Klopp we're talking about. He is a genius, and I don't know if you've been around geniuses. They are one of the most frustrating people to be around is because they stick to their whatever they do, and they take their time, and it's frustrating. If you stand outside, you looking at it, be like, bro, come on, but they were like, no, this is what I'm used to. So yes, Klopp has made a lot of mistakes. I think the owners have given him way too much. And he needs to just focus on football. Klopp focusing on football is one of the dangerous managers ever. Reason why Pep wrote the whole paragraph in his book on it. The reason why I think he's a little bit distracted is because he's doing too much. If you go on Have Crazy Ball TV, shameless plug, that I always say that Klopp is distracted. When he first came in, Edwards was there. And he was able to just focus on the football. So everything he needed is get done. He comes in. What was the solution you guys brought to me? They show it to him. He picks what he wants. Edward is like, I think we should choose this side.
Can I come in on that? Can I come in that point? And
yeah.
And the rest of the points. Thank you for the rest of the points, and you make some very good points as usual. Can I come in on that point though? If Jurgen Klopp, you think he's got too much going on, who's given him that responsibility?
The owner?
Or do you think he's taken that responsibility in terms of not directly, but so Arsene Wenger, Alex Ferguson, near the end of their tenure, was similar. They gained more and more power after the initial 6, 7 years. They became almost in charge of everything. Who's given him that power? Is you right to be given that power? And is you right to take that power?
I think this is where I fault the owners because, and we've seen this with J.W. Henry, when the manager shows good effort, he gives you everything. He did with Brendan Rodgers until he messed up, then they had to cut him, right? Even if you watch that movie Moneyball, he was ready to give the guy, Betty Boom, a whole blank check, let us win. That's how he is. So if based on your question, I think it was wrong doing that to Klopp because Klopp was the final piece to the puzzle. Edwards and Klopp are almost identical. That's why they butt head so much. And one person that I think we need, I have the CEO, the current CEO, I have no trust in the current CEO right now. The one who left, I don't want to mess his name up. Is it Peter Moore, because I tend to mess all their name up. The CEO was the one who was able to kind of be the peacekeeper between Edwards and Klopp. When he left 2020, guys, since 2020, how has Liverpool been doing? We've been going down. A year later, Edwards left. 6 months later, what's his name?
Ward.
Ward is also saying he's leaving. Klopp signed a new contract, knowing everything he said in his embargo press conference, right? He signed that contract knowing that, because if you people pay attention, listen to your manager, whatever he said in that press conference, he said that day one when he got hired. J.W. Henry also said it day one when he bought the team. He said, we are not like PSG or City, or Chelsea. We're going to be very responsible of how we spend the money. I'm paraphrasing, of course, right? Klopp have known this, and I know Grizz. I followed Grizz. He said this guy have signed 4 different contracts, and he has known this, every single one of them. So why is it that now all of a sudden Liverpool fans are upset? Now, answering Grizz's question, I don't think they should have given him that power. And he's a genius. So he wants that power because that gives him a little more freedom to do what he wants. For instance, the storyline is he wanted Götze instead of Mane, right? And then somebody said, no, you're going to go get Mane. So him be a genius, okay, I can't get somebody to keep blocking me when I need these guys. And I think he got frustrated that season that we lost all our center backs. People thought that he was talking to the owners. He wasn't talking to the owners. He was talking to Michael Edwards, because Edward had told him, what's his name? Lovren was supposed to go a year before. He kept Lovren for an extra year. We won the league. And then the following league later, he wanted Konate. We didn't get him. He chose to keep Fabinho as the 4th choice center back. I remember Jamie Carragher said, this is a dangerous play you playing. He told Jamie Carragher, you focus on your whatever you do over there, I'll focus over there. And then everything went down. And then he wanted certain players. Edwards didn't want him to have certain players, where the Atlantic report also said the same thing. That's where I think Klopp was like, you know what, I can't keep doing this. So now J.W. Henry is sitting there be like, the golden goose or the mastermind, I got to pick one of them. And he chose the golden goose. Mastermind said, okay, I got to take a break. So personally, I'm saying J.W. Henry, you and Klopp and Tom Warner, go get a pair of kneecaps and go beg the guy and let him come, because he was the model. He created the model.
He's not coming back. He's not coming back. Edwards, I know that for a fact. I know someone.
I've been on this campaign, Grace.
Yeah,
he just messed up my.
I know someone who's very close to Edwards, personal friend. Edwards
He's coming back.
has no what's the word? Thoughts of coming back. We can put that out of our thoughts. In terms of sporting director, we do know we need someone more. What's the word, Sass? Competent, someone in line with the modern way of football. Like this
football, yeah.
guy is a bit. He sounds or comes across very old school.
Who? Schmadtke?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, it's obviously
they hired him just for the summer. They just hired him for the summer.
Yeah.
That alone is a very.
That doesn't make sense though. I can't.
It makes no sense.
It, guys. I can't.
Yeah.
I look. I'm a believer of criticize where criticism is due. Moan where moaning is valid, or complain where complaint is valid. I can't make sense of this.
Of that appointment?
Yeah, I can't make sense of it in any way, shape, or form. I can't justify it. I can't, stick up for FSG over it, as people say. I stick up for FSG. No, fuck no, man. I just speak on what I think, and I think this has been a shambolic appointment. I think it's an internal appointment. I think it's a Klopp appointment. And then that goes back to what Kwazi's saying. Should he be given that much power, Sass? Because he's our hero, he's our king, but he's a king.
No, listen, he doesn't need a yes man there. We don't need a yes man as a sporting director. We need someone to absolutely butt heads in a civilized manner and to question things. And for, like you said, the whole Mane versus Götze, the whole Salah, and who was it? Was it Julian Brandt?
Yeah.
If reports are to be believed. So no, we just listen. We just need someone who fits into the model, right? Because that's the model we got to deal with, but who is independent of thought, yeah, and who is going to question things.
Yes,
we definitely don't need Jurgen's pal from Germany doing that. Now, listen, we may be doing a disservice to George, right? And everyone was, all the memes, and there were some pretty cool emojis and memes going about when he had done when McAllister was done. Admittedly, that obviously was done before him. And when Szoboszlai was done in like 24 hours when no one was expecting it, right? Everyone was like, George is the man. Yeah. So listen, let's see. We got 7 days for this thing to play out, or 5 days, as I was corrected. I saw in the chat somewhere.
It's reducing day by day, hour by hour.
And tomorrow it'll be whatever. Yeah, and it's a bank holiday here as well. So I don't know. Hopefully they're still working and making calls on a bank holiday. But we shall see. Listen, I don't think it's a case of like the owner saying, all right, Jurgen, it's on you now. I just think it's the way, not that the cookie has crumbled, but it's just the way things have manifested themselves there, right? I don't think they were expecting Ward to leave. Ward left. Inadvertently, Klopp would have been, therefore, had more say, because you would have no one to come up against. There would have been one sort of, a hurdle removed, if you like, for want of a better word. And so let's see. Hopefully they get that point. Listen, if George does a slam dunk, I wouldn't be surprised if they extend his contract. And I think it's a bit of maybe, if Jorg is Jurgen's man, then it's FSG giving him a short-term contract to see if he can cut the mustard. Let's see. I don't know about shambolic. I don't think it was a shambolic, but we needed someone to actually be there to like make the calls and send the faxes and do all that stuff, which I assume is part of his job, right? So
I don't know, man.
Which sporting director do we want?
We wanted the Leverkusen one. The one who's gone to West Ham was our number one choice, and Jurgen Klopp
skyboshed it.
According to my thinking,
according
to my opinion, Jurgen Klopp vetoed that again. So Jurgen, the one who's at West Ham now, Steiden,
Tim Steiden or something.
Yeah, he's the one who wanted. But look, if he pulls out a few rabbits out of the bag in the next week or so, then maybe. If he pulls off a couple of players from the Bundesliga, guys, keep an eye on the Bundesliga. I think we're targeting a couple this week. I believe we had a delegation over in Germany this weekend.
I read somewhere that we bid 43 million euros was rejected for Gravenberch or something like that.
I think we end up with Gravenberch. If Bayern,
what is he? Is he a 6 or an 8? What is he? He's
not 6.
All action, right? He's an 8. He's like an 8 or a 10.
Even action is stretching in terms of he's a laid back. He's an elegant player.
Yeah.
Very good on the ball, very good ball carrier. Always been, so he's all throughout the levels of football that he's played, he's always been physically bigger than everyone. So he's been able to bully people.
Right.
He's not a physical player, but he's got the physical attributes.
I got you.
But he doesn't use them well enough, in my opinion.
Well, listen, when we signed Ronaldo Gini, everyone thought, look, he was a 10, right? He was a 10 or an 8 or something. He was an 8, right? Ginny, before he used to play attacking for Newcastle. And then we turned him into a...
This is my hope and prayer that if we get Gravenberch...
That must be the plan, man. That must be the plan.
He's wanted him since I tweeted about him and Jude in 2020, 21. I think he was 17, 18 at the time.
Before he went to Bayern.
before he went to Bayern. So we've had our eyes on him for years. He wouldn't be my choice, guys. Right now, he wouldn't.
Who would you go for then?
Manu Kone for me, Paulina for me, obviously Decore for me, Florentino Luis for me. Those four, 100%, I'd go for.
I have to say, I like Paulinho. I know everyone says he's not good on the ball, but I think that's nonsense.
I don't, whatever, man. It's people's opinions, and I don't want to shit on people's opinions, but Paulina is such a good player, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's big.
Big boy. We need that big. We need that
big boy, guys. This Andre Trinade, who I believe we will eventually strike a deal for in January. I think
he's small.
Yeah, he's a Thiago replacement. He's a Thiago with legs. Obviously, not to the level of Thiago's ball playing skill, but far more physical and able to run around more because obviously he's younger and Thiago's old now. So he's a Thiago replacement.
Got you.
Yeah, he's able to play. He'd control proceedings, the tempo of the play and everything. But he's not your physical commanding DM that you want to just be blocking, heading, tackling.
Yeah.
And who's your centre-back shout?
There's a fellow who plays for Feyenoord.
Hanko.
I saw a report that we were looking at him too.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the first one who's.
I think that was yours. Yeah, I think that was you.
I
don't think there's anyone we're not fucking looking at the moment. I mean, we're
Hanko. Well, there's shouts of that. How do you say his name? Hincapi. I don't know. I know we've got interest in him as well, and the one I know the least about. In terms of the player, but I know the interest is the other one, Theate of Rennes, is it?
Yeah.
Belgium international, apparently.
He needs to get his hair cut, though.
You don't like his hair? You're jealous?
I don't like the Cucurella style long hair.
You always get
footballers, I think you need short haircut.
Nah, me and you just get jealous when it comes to hairs, man. Me and you just get jealous.
I haven't got much left.
We just get jealous, man. But so look, centre backs, midfielders, there are people out there that we can go for. Kwasi, it's been a pleasure, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Always good chatting to you, my bro.
Quick question.
Go on.
I've asked this on our show too. This is FSG 2.0. Do you think we need an FSG 3.0? Meaning, when they first came in, we saw the mess they did. And then they fixed it with the Edwards and the Klopp and Peter Moore and all those guys, build like a dominant system that I tell people all the clubs that have been copying us have either won a championship or competed. AC Milan, they use the same model with it. City, same model. Barcelona, right? So do you guys think that we need a 3.0?
I'm waiting for the 2.0. Why
do you think we need a 3.0?
Why have you skipped 2.0?
Because the 2.0 was the Edward, when Edward became.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? When Klopp came
in. For sure. We need a restructuring of the club. We can't carry on like this. We've lost, we've replaced Ian Graham with Spearman, head of research. We've replaced, we're going to replace, I believe, George. So that would be crucial. We've got quite a few scouts that have left off. Head of opposition analysis has left us.
Is that the one that's gone to Newcastle?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And he was very good. He was best man at one of my best mates' wedding.
Okay.
So he knows him personally. Very big, huge loss. So we do need a whole restructuring, I believe, especially behind the scenes. But I think it's linked with guys, and I don't want to start this whole ownership because I need to go now. But I think it's all linked with this whole investment stroke ownership issue.
That's what we need. We need more. They need more money.
Well, either more money or sort of a whole restructuring or even a possible sale.
Yeah.
As I've said in the past, I don't think it was. I think it was a goer. I just think they tested the water. They just didn't get the price that they wanted, just like Man United. But I think it's one to keep an eye on, especially the investment side.
Right.
And that will obviously change the thing. Bakwazi, must let you go. Appreciate
Thank you
love.
so much. I appreciate you guys.
No thank you, man.
Nice one,
All
Kwasi.
the
All
best.
right.
Take care. Guys in the chat, I'm so sorry I'm not going to bring anyone else on that. Enough now. Nearly 2 hours, 40 minutes. I'm tired.
Wow.
Yeah, it show's flown. It's flown.
Yeah.
Sass, thank you, man. Hope
It's
you
been a pleasure, mate.
I've been begging you to come on for so long, man. But
Hopefully I didn't disappoint.
you're a natural, son. You're an absolute natural. Chat loved you. Chat, what do we think about Sass, man? Come on, let's show Sass some love. He's a personal friend of mine. I've been telling him to get involved so much behind the scenes, and he doesn't want to. He just, he wants to be behind the scenes. He's very important to me off the camera. I want him to be part of my show moving forward. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, guys. But yeah, tomorrow, Sass, we go to Newcastle. If we pull off a win, it's going to be lovely. We're going to be buzzing. Hopefully, that's followed up by a couple of signings, and then we just enjoy the season as supporters of Liverpool Football Club. What else can we do, Sass?
We'll go to Anfield. We'll have a fun time. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Look, bear love. Look at that, bear love. This is all for him. I loved him. Oh, look at that, fire emojis. There we go. Look at that. Fine by me. Lee says fine by me. He's fine. You know what I mean? That's fair enough. It's good enough. Big up, Sasito. There you go, man. Good evening.
Nice
There you go. Oh, not my hater. He's not my hater. But my criticism, even my criticizers, even saying good evening. Thank you, Do. I didn't insult you, my brother. I didn't insult you back. I just said, listen to what I say. I give my opinion. I don't side with anyone, and if I do, that's my opinion. You have to respect me for it. I'm not going to change just because it doesn't agree with you. But up the Reds, that's what we say. Guys, this has been Calling Khan. I've enjoyed today's show. Some strong opinions, some controversial opinions. It's been good. It's been flowing. The respect has been there. The chat's been amazing. You guys have been amazing. Make sure you've liked the stream. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't. Spread the word. Share it. We're doing good things. Liverpool could be doing good things. Up the Reds. Take care. This is me and Sass. Over and out.